All aboard the Pacific Princess for the Season 3 Battle of the Network Show's BATTY Awards. At sea, your bartender Isaac will be mixing colortinis all night, so sit back and laugh at the comedy stylings of MERRIL STUBING. Relive the best of the 80s Enough talent show, lovingly recreated by our crack research team. Groove to a special duet by Michael Knight and KITT, especially if you're German. All this plus new awards categories, the return of favorites like Best Show, Best Episode, and Outstanding Facial Hair, and don't forget the Robert Pine Genius Award. Next. Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to the Season 3 BATTY Awards. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rick.
We're your hosts for this exciting adventure on the Pacific.
Yeah, we're doing it a little bit differently this time, and I like it.
Yeah. A lot of food to eat.
Is that?
And, of course, love.
Yeah, that may be in the air as well. And you know what else? The seawater. There's something about that salt in the air. It's just, I'm taking it in, I'm breathing it. It gives a certain atmosphere that it's got me even more excited than ever for the baddies, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Plus, you know, we have the excitement of, after we give out the awards, being on a ship with the losers for 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of shuffleboard to ease the pain for the losers, but I'm hoping it won't be too awkward.
Right. It does help that some of them are dead.
That does help.
Maybe.
That eases tensions a little bit.
Yeah.
And the rest of them will probably all get Legionnaire's disease, and we'll all have something in common by the end of this voyage.
But boy, the shrimp, the entertainment, it's something else.
You can't beat it. There's just something about being at sea that puts everything into perspective.
Yeah. Just having a purser around to purse for you.
That's been a big help, really. Like a lot of the
has.
administrative duties that we would normally worry about, totally off the table for us.
That's right. Gopher's in charge of our Instagram feed now.
Yeah.
A lot more pictures of ladies for some reason.
I have noticed that. We haven't received any complaints yet, though, so... so far, so good, and it's really let us focus more on the business at hand, I think, which is administering and celebrating the baddies.
That's right. So if you're unfamiliar with the baddies, I don't know how you are, but this is where we look back at our current season and give out awards.
Yes.
For all sorts of wonderful categories.
And some not-so-wonderful categories as well. We're celebrating the best and the most distinctive, the most outstanding of our Season 3, and... Yeah. There's a lot to cover this year. I think it was. I felt pretty good about this season, Mike.
Yeah. Good.
I think we. That is good. But I think we had a lot to celebrate this year, and I think this hopefully will be a good voyage for the listeners as well as for us.
Yeah. With that, let's get into it.
Shall we?
Yeah. What category do you think we should start with?
Well, might we start with a new category?
That sounds like a good idea.
I think so. Shall I do the honors for this first category?
Yeah, you can do that.
Is there a reason that I'm being selected to introduce this category?
You offered to
yeah, that makes it even worse. Well, folks, the reason I say it like that is because this is a new category this year that we call the biggest dope. Yeah, there's not much of a good way to spin biggest dope, but these are some distinctive performances and people that... we hope you'll enjoy reliving their dopiness as much as we did.
Right.
And the nominating committee.
The Blue Ribbon panel.
Yes, thank you.
Nominating committee.
Okay, so without any further ado, the nominees for Biggest Dope are Bobby Sherman from Love Boat, Doug's mom's boyfriend from Knight Rider, the economist on the Tom Snyder Show, and Mr. Furley from Three's Company. Now, the way we traditionally do this is we'll have folks, we don't choose these ahead of time. We're determining the winners as we do the show. And traditionally we've had a time limit, correct, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
For discussion and debate. And then, because some of these categories, I'll just explain this for a second here for first-time listeners. Some of these categories, we could be here for 2 days talking about some of these things. So in order to ensure that we don't give you a 5-hour podcast, we're going to set some parameters on the discussion, and hopefully at the end of, say, 3 minutes, we will come up with a choice. And if we cannot agree, another Batty Awards tradition is, in the event of that us judges cannot determine a winner, we go to the only fair, the only scientific, the only truly legit way to break a tie. Of course, we're talking about a random number generator, right, Mike?
That's right.
So we will be bringing that as well as the time limits this year as we discuss these categories. I suppose we could have mentioned all that before we got into the awards, but this will give people time, I think, to process who the biggest dope might have been. So feel free to play along at home if you'd like.
Could have been us.
Yes.
Not planning.
We happen to not be eligible for the category at this time, but yes.
Right.
Okay, so we've got 4 interesting...
Timer has started.
Okay, 4 interesting dopes. Mike, I'll let you talk since I was had the pleasure, quote unquote, of introducing the dopes.
Well, now, so one thing I find interesting about these nominees is the way we chose to name them.
Yeah, that is interesting.
One by the actor's name.
Yes, as opposed to the character.
One by a description of the character.
Yeah.
One is a real person.
Who we don't name.
And then one is a character.
Yeah. This is an exciting new category.
Right.
That's for sure.
And I don't know how any of that plays into favor or against. You would think if we can't remember your name, that means you're not very memorable, but it also might mean you're such a dope.
Yeah, that you're not worthy of being named.
Right.
So, I mean, really, Mr. Furley is dopey for many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hoodwinked by a pretty ridiculous scam by Jack Tripper / Austin in that episode.
Yeah.
As you'll remember, the whole twin fiasco fooled Mr. Furley.
Yeah.
Doug's mom's boyfriend was totally doing machismo where none was warranted. I think that's why we considered him a dope.
Yeah. And, there's a talking guy with a talking car looking for his talking car.
Yeah.
Just give him a break.
Exactly. Bobby Sherman was being unnecessarily possessive and not supportive at all of Maureen McCormick's pageant career on the Love Boat. So that's why he's included.
I believe one of us might have actually called him a dope in the episode.
Yeah, that's telling, isn't it?
Yeah. And yet he did succeed somehow.
Yes.
So is he a dope?
Okay, it's worth considering. And
yeah.
Finally, the economist from the Tom Snyder Show who probably made millions of Americans go to sleep in his 6 or 7 minute segment.
Right, and at least a few go to sleep on top of their money.
Yeah. With his not so savvy financial analysis and forecasts.
Right.
At least I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yet he is rather distinctive.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 dopes to refresh everybody's memory. So does anybody jump out at you?
Well, I'm going to say ultimately the 2 that are jumping out right now are Bobby Sherman and Mr. Furley.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Sherman, honestly, I believe I kind of came up with this category when I was editing that episode. And,
yeah.
Heard us call him a dope, or I might have just thought he was a dope. But anyway, again, though, he succeeds. Mr. Furley, I mean, it's a little implausible, that whole situation. But,
Furley was not only fooled by that, but Furley, was he not also suckered into becoming drunk on, wasn't there something going on with the alcohol that...
Well, he brought the alcohol.
Yeah, but it wasn't like... He was like the first one to get drunk.
Yeah.
He was also he believed that Jack was actually a twin version of himself.
Right.
He was fooled by the dancing gimmick.
Yeah.
He was totally oblivious after like 1 cup of whatever it was that they were drinking.
Right.
Bobby Sherman was I value him for being the inspiration for this, but it seemed almost more like a jerk at times, and he was a dope. But biggest dope, I would personally lean towards Furley in this category.
Yeah, that's how I'm leaning to.
Yeah, I think we can go with that one. I would go to that.
All right. We have our first winner.
Yeah.
Also, the man who
Ralph
won the big fight.
He did the Furley versus Roper
Yeah.
confrontation.
Yeah.
Wow. Big year for Ralph Furley.
Wow.
And hopefully Bart will be proud of him for winning this award. Maybe he'll get some points.
I think Bart already knows he's the biggest dope.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right.
Okay.
Congratulations, Ralph Furley.
There's a particular, I would say, subgroup nominees. Maybe we should keep all of them together?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we do that now?
Or
save
no, let's save that.
Okay. I'll make a note here.
Okay. So the next category is one we introduced last season, season 2, biggest exasperation. Biggest exasperation. The nominees are DVP, Dick Van Patten, just in case you haven't been paying attention. Made Is Enough. Vince McMahon from Saturday night's
Main event.
Thank
Yes.
you. Mr. Bear, the owner of the organic honey factory in the Bear Who Slept Through Christmas. And Judd Hirsch from Taxi. All right, let's start the timer.
An interesting category, Mike. I think I really give credit to the Blue Ribbon nominating committee, the Blue Ribbon panel,
Right.
for coming up with this, because I think many skeptics might have thought that this wouldn't sustain itself over multiple baddies, but
Yeah.
we always come up with something, and man, all 4 of these were quite exasperated in what we watched. One who leaps out to me is Judd Hirsch. He could almost get a Lifetime Achievement Award in this category, I would think. But then again, DVP, whew, boy, he just was so fed up with many things in that episode.
Right.
The talent show, the Who's On First, but he was upset with Nicholas's performance, as you remember. Vince McMahon is always exasperated, whether it be the tactics of the heels in the ring, Jesse Ventura disrupting Uncle Elmer's wedding, comments Jesse Ventura makes in the booth. And then, of course, you have Mr. Bear, who just is incredulous that anybody would want to go find Christmas and not be happy just
Sleeping.
working. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Biggest exasperation. This is tough. This is very tough.
Yeah.
Hearts are going to be broken on this one, I have a
are.
feeling.
I'm going to say something controversial right now.
Please do. I'm ready for it.
In the same episode, the DVP displayed some exasperation. He also displayed a lot of laissez-faire parenting. With the whole, situation of Nicholas running away. Wait, was that the same episode?
You're talking about...
Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different episode. Right?
Yeah.
The UFO business? Yeah, that was a totally different episode.
That was a separate way.
Okay. I take that back.
Wait a minute. No, you're talking about when when Nicholas ran away, and then at the end that was the 2-parter.
Yeah, that was a different one.
Yeah.
He went to Grant Goody's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. I'm not exasperated over that. I think you still make an excellent point there, Mike. I'm not quite sure what it is, but you've made an excellent point. The point is that DVP is not necessarily known always for being exasperated.
No.
He's certainly exasperated just raising 8 kids. Many times he is, but he also has a tender side. Now, whether that disqualifies him, I don't know. Are we considering them for their performance just in the episode we watched, and for any of these nominees, or are we looking at their body of work over a career? It's a tough call. The Blue Ribbon panel gives us a lot of leeway in determining these awards. Judd Hirsch, while not classically exasperated as much as in other episodes, he was pretty fed up, what Louis was doing, as he often is.
Yeah, and some of the fares he was getting.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The Great Race episode, the competition he did with Louis to raise fares. So, what do you think here? I would probably eliminate Mr. Bear.
I would too. And I would say McMahon maybe wasn't exasperated enough.
Yeah, he was relatively sedate. We did one of the early episodes. He was almost kind of normal in that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would rule him out as well. That leaves us with DVP and Alex Rieger himself, Judd Hirsch.
Yeah.
It's a tough call.
It's tough because I've got multiple It Is Enough episodes running in my head.
Yeah, I'm
apparently.
actually getting a little concerned about you because it looks like you're still. Yeah, I think you're running through the whole season of Eight Is Enough there, which
But didn't we
is
somehow
not at all a
talk
bad
about
thing.
that other episode?
With the UFO business.
Yeah. No. I thought we talked about parts of that.
We did, but we did. We ran. I believe we ran a photo essay of the scenes from that
Right.
that episode.
Yeah. Jesus. We only did the talent show episode.
I tell you what, Isaac the bartender has been mixing up some strong color teams.
Yeah, apparently.
It's starting to take its toll on us, I think. And sometimes we're out in a cruise. Memories of earthly pastimes just fade away into the ether. So forgive us, folks, as we try to trace this. But does it really matter?
Yeah.
I mean, Ed is most exasperated. DVP was very exasperated in that episode.
And even did faux exasperation.
He did.
In the Who's on First bit.
Yeah.
First he did real exasperation when Nicholas couldn't get it.
Yes.
And then later he did the...
Let me say this. I think DVP is a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. But when I think exasperation, I think Judd Hirsch is known mostly for his exasperation. DVP to a lesser extent on this show, but DVP we'll probably be hearing from him later in the Batty Awards, and I want to consider each category as it should be, but I just feel that Judd Hirsch's thing is exasperation. If we want to reward Judd Hirsch, this is the place to do it, and nobody does exasperation better than Judd Hirsch, I will say that.
That's a song, isn't it?
Nobody does it better?
It's a big hit.
Oh, come on, get off it.
Wow.
You know darn well, Louis.
Judd Hirsch just walked on stage.
He's getting exasperated with us.
We're well over the time limit here. I am actually in concurrence with you. I think Judd Hirsch.
All right, let's go. Hey, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Judd Hirsch, biggest exasperation for Taxi: The Great Race. Congratulations, Mr. Hirsch.
Yeah.
Please don't get angry with us.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah. We should have picked you a lot sooner, but we wanted to make it sure it was fair for everybody. Much like you wanted to stick to the rules in the Taxi competition you had with Louis De Palma. Thank you.
That's true.
So where do we go next? I guess we go. We're going to a musical category.
I think so. So in season 2, we actually had 2 theme song categories. I think we're going to be back to 1 this time, just based on the songs we had. But we do have a category for best song, and you can go ahead and.
This is always one of the most popular categories, Mike, in the Batty. So I'm honored to introduce the nominees for best song this year, and those nominees are TVI, which was of course performed by Iggy Pop on Tomorrow's Show with Tom Snyder. Sola, sung by Abby Bradford, a.k.a. Betty Buckley, on 8 Is Enough. We have 8 Is Enough, performed by Grant Goodeve on the same episode, which eventually became the theme song to the show. Mm-hmm. And Where Can I Find Christmas, that heartwarming tune from The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas.
All right.
Those are our 4 nominees. Mike, what do you think?
Well, I think I enjoyed Dog Food more than TVI.
Yeah, that's that's an understandable
No,
call.
for me, I think it's between the 2 8 Is Enough songs.
Yes.
The Sola is beautiful, and Betty Buckley, of course, is world-renowned for her singing. And I feel like she stayed in character in a way,
True.
Like she was casual as she was doing it.
It wasn't totally, It wasn't totally showy or overly
right.
theatrical.
I mean, as we said on the show, the character, the show itself, 8 Is Enough, sort of underplayed her talents.
It really did, yeah.
Just like, oh, good, Abby's going to sing, whatever. But they were so focused on Grant Goodeve singing.
Which there's no shame in that, but no. I'm glad that we at Battle of the Network shows are not underselling Betty Buckley's talents or Abby Bradford's talents.
And let's not forget, he was part of that performance, too.
Indeed, yes.
Playing
he accompanied
12-string guitar.
Exactly. It was a big part of the song. Technically, it was a virtuoso performance in its own right, but Grant Goodeve, David singing 8 Is Enough in front of his family there, and it wasn't just a song. It was a song that was a commentary on the episode and his relationship with his family. That one really touched my soul.
Yeah. And in the outside world, it's a historic Eight Is Enough moment. It's the introduction of a song that would become the theme song for the show.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. And the whole show built to him doing that. I mean, it's the focal point of everything in that show.
I wish every TV series had a moment where a character introduces the theme song and then it becomes that song. I think every show that comes out should sandbag everybody and go with a generic theme song for the sole purpose of setting up the actual theme song and maybe the pilot early on and having that be the theme song.
Yeah.
Maybe Eight Is Enough planned this from the beginning and actually, went through...
It was the end of a 2-season arc.
Yes. In order just to get to that moment. I don't think there's much more debate on this one. I think we both agree. Eight Is Enough. I mean, we spent probably 15 minutes analyzing the lyrics in that song, as I recall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think, have you been spending your life like shiny new dimes since we did that episode, Mike?
I don't have a kitchen window. So I don't have anywhere to put my wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of an issue.
Yeah. I should be. Or wasn't that bad though, that we spend our lives like?
Yeah, well, it was like we're throwing them away. We're discarding them, I think is what we came up with.
So we should shouldn't do that.
Right. So I'm hoping that you don't. I'm hoping that instead you're finding a little magic every early morning, but
I'm usually asleep.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess what I'm getting to is I've used that song has touched me so much that I'm kind of using it as a guidepost for my daily life since we did that episode. So, yeah, that's, I think, a big winner.
Yeah.
Grant Goodeve, David Bradford, Eight Is Enough, written by Rodgers and Hammerstein. I actually don't know who wrote it, but
I forget who wrote it.
Yeah, they're great people, very talented. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Best song.
Moving on, another favorite category, performance by a youth.
Yes, our younger demographics in particular love this award, Mike.
Right. Our 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the nominees are Adam Rich from Eight Is Enough, playing Nicholas, of course. Mino Palouse from Voyagers. Ricky Schroeder back a second time in this category.
Yes.
For his appearance as himself on the Tom Snyder Tomorrow Show. And interesting twist on this category, the Wonder Twins.
Ah, interesting.
One nomination. I heard the Blue Ribbon panel, had to have long discussions about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure why I'm so surprised by that, but that is an interesting choice I think they made.
Yeah.
I'm a little caught off guard by that. But I accept it.
I've heard that Gleek is a little offended that he didn't get included. But we don't know his age.
Yeah, that's indeterminate, I think. Yeah. Gleek might have a shot at appearing in another category, and if he's not in that category, then he'll really be upset, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
He's not on this boat, is he?
I hope not.
That could really be awkward.
Yeah. Also, it could be awkward if Zan happens to have turned himself into like a bucket of water.
Yeah.
And we knock him into the ocean.
Yeah, that would be...
He might have to get some help from Aquaman.
Not so good, yes. We'll see. Although if he's lost at sea, if he's got a Batty Award, that's a good consolation prize for him.
Yeah.
Now the question is, will he get a Batty?
I don't know. I've started the timer.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Performance by a Ute. Schroeder was very charming on Tom Snyder.
He was. We had, I would say, a slight difference of opinion.
We did.
And that I felt like he was being very natural, and you felt like he was putting on a show.
I kind of did, yeah. Yeah, I did. But I don't. But yet that almost makes him more charming to me. I kind of endeared him to me a little bit.
Yeah.
The Wonder Twins, I got to admit, I've never been a big Wonder Twins fan. I'm just going to say that now.
No. And that whole situation with the tiger, I don't know if they handled that.
Yeah, we had some grave concerns about their tactics in that mission.
Now, Jaina was involved in the Bat Belt mouse compartment situation.
That was one of the more memorable parts of that episode, yes.
I don't know if that would have happened without her.
Point well taken.
Zan, on the other hand, didn't really have much to do then. I think he was like ice ladder for the whole time, or a
Yeah,
bucket of water or something.
it wasn't his finest moment.
No.
Now, Adam Rich, we're
Adam.
talking now.
Classic kid performer.
Yeah, and the great timing he had with DVP
Yeah.
and their scenes alone makes him worthy of serious consideration, I would say.
That he could convince us in one scene that he was never going to get the Suze on first down.
Mm-hmm.
And then in another scene, he nailed it.
Yeah.
And we believed that Nicholas made that progress.
I totally bought into that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He also made us constantly in his career, at least at that age, believe a kid was okay having that haircut.
Yeah, that's big. He paved the way. He was very influential in that regard, I think.
Yeah.
Very influential. What can you say about Mino Palouse that hasn't already been said?
Oh, I don't know.
Fine actor.
He handled the comedy. He handled
The exposition.
The exposition, the dramatic elements.
Right.
Held his own with John Eric Hexum, that guy that played Babe Ruth.
He did. Yes, he did all that, and he was in every other show that we watched growing up.
That's right, and of course his cameo in 8 is Enough.
Yeah.
He's a sad clown.
Yeah. Well, what do you think here? I would eliminate the Wonder Twins and Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah.
His best work was on Silver Spoons in our last season,
and he didn't win that year either.
No, he's. We're gonna have to. What can we get him for in season 4 that we can nominate him again next year?
I don't know. We'll have to start doing movies. Little Lord Fauntleroy, was that?
Yeah.
That was a TV movie, right?
Ricky Schroeder is going to become the Susan Lucci of this ceremony.
And all his adult dramatic work is out of our time period, I think.
True.
Lonesome Dove might squeak in, but I don't think so.
Well, for me, it's down between Nicholas and Jeffrey, Adam Rich and Mino, and I lean Mino.
I think I came into this category leaning Mino, and I still...
You have not budged.
No. Because, and they had a scene together, of course.
Mm-hmm. That scene kind of told you something.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, yeah, well, I'm glad you agree.
Nicholas, being the regular actor on the show, had more to say, but Mino might have said more with his eyes.
You sound like me talking about Grant Goody for a minute there. But no, I think that's a good point. Mino stood out. He got more gigs after that. So
yeah.
Mino was Voyagers.
He was.
I mean, not to slight John Eric Hexum or anybody else, but they really built a show around the kid, and he lived up to it. And main thing is, we watched that show, we relived it, watched a show about a kid, and weren't annoyed by it. So that's got to count for something.
That counts for a lot. And Nicholas is always borderline annoying.
True.
Sometimes intentionally.
He's far from my favorite part of any 8 is Enough episode.
Yeah.
Even with DVP.
Yeah. Every now and then it makes you think, maybe 7 was enough.
Oh, wow. Be careful now, Mike. We might get pushed overboard. There's apparently some rabid Adam Rich fans on at sea with us here.
Oh, jeez.
These cruises, they get all types.
They do, yeah.
They get all types. I think we're both leaning towards Mino, though.
Yeah.
Mino Palouse, outstanding performance by a youth, winner of the Batty. Congratulations, Mino.
Congratulations, Mino.
Maybe this will be enough to get him back into acting.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
World needs a little more Mino.
I think so. All right, so I believe we have another performance category up next. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is it my turn to... I believe it is, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, this one is another favorite. We've got a lot of popular categories.
Yeah.
I hadn't really noticed that until I started going down the list here. But this is performance by a non-human.
Ooh.
Keep that in mind, non-human.
Yeah.
Okay, so the nominees in this category this year are Ted E. Bear for The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, our holiday special. KITT from Knight Rider. Dictor from the Super Friends. And finally, also from the Super Friends, Superman. The Man of Steel. Yes. All right, shall we start deliberation? Mike, what do you think?
Yes. Oh, well, these are certainly all not human.
That is true. Good job by the Blue Ribbon panel.
Yeah. Poor Gleek didn't make it in his category.
You know, I wasn't going to call attention to it, but you're right. We might as well address that.
Yeah. So, Teddy Bear, of course, is a bear.
Mm-hmm.
KITT is a car.
Yes.
Dictor is an alien.
Yes.
Or a space alien.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. And, of course, Superman is Kryptonian.
He is indeed.
Oof.
You know, Superman was a hero of mine growing up, and remains one of my favorite superheroes. No matter how many goofy things they do with Superman, I always think he's the man.
Yeah, and he speaks well for space aliens. Dictor, on the other hand, doesn't.
Yeah, he's not. Let's take pains to point out, Dictor is not necessarily indicative of all space aliens.
No.
Just like Superman isn't.
That's true.
But it's certainly true to say Superman represents all the other outer regions and the entire galaxies and universes quite well.
Yes. Despite what Lex Luthor might have you believe.
Exactly.
Dictor also, I mean, he was fooled by that inflatable Batman filled with the dust of his enemy, Bruce.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you know, everybody knows that trick.
True.
And he's like a time traveler. He should know everything.
Yeah, you'd think you would assume a certain level of sophistication that maybe an Earth henchman or thug might fall for that. Mm-hmm. But really, Dictor, you know, from an advanced civilization of some kind, is suckered by that.
And he thinks he can rule a planet?
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
No.
Dictor is kind of a lightweight, actually, the more I think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's eliminate him.
KITT, certainly a car unlike any other car, at least for now. And I gotta believe even once we really have the automated talking cars, that they won't have his wit. Unless they hire William Daniels.
That's highly unlikely, yes.
And some car company better do that.
Yeah.
Hire
I hope
William
he's recording
Daniels.
tracks now.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sure that must have at some point been one of those GPS voices, right?
They must just have him reading an atlas, you know, just like banking all these like place names and street names.
Right, and saying snide things about.
Yeah.
Do you really want to turn that way?
Yeah. Yes.
So and of course in the episode we watched, we got to see a totally different side of KITT. The KITT with car amnesia.
Yes. He got more to play with than anybody else in this category in that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen talking cars before, of course, in television and movies, but
of course,
a talking car with amnesia, that's something else. That's special.
Yeah. And, you know, it showed his ability to relate to children. I don't know if KITT without amnesia would relate to Jason Bateman as easily.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, many people didn't relate to Jason Bateman very easily back in the 80s. He was a bit of a firecracker.
Yeah.
His persona, that is.
In a way, we got to see multiple stages of William Daniels' career. The normal KITT is a little bit prickly, like his St. Elsewhere character. Mm-hmm. And, you know, KITT with amnesia, car amnesia, was still prickly, but able to relate to a child and teach, like Mr. Feeney on The Boy Meets World. But,
interesting point, yes.
and then we have Teddy Bear, who, of course, is a bear.
Yes.
An uncommon bear.
Yes, he was challenging the status quo somewhat. He was curious.
Yeah.
He had a certain intelligence, a curiosity about him that distinguished him from the other bears. But, you know, Tommy Smothers did a good job, and the idea was that he was different, but yet he was also kind of an every bear kind of character. And I think Tommy Smothers did that well, but the performance didn't quite stand out to me. And it was good for what it was, but it's tough to compete to a showy baddie baiting role like KITT had in that amnesia episode.
Right. I believe when they wrote that episode years ago, they were thinking one day we'll win an award for this.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if people 30 years ago want to pander to us, I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Gives us entertaining episodes to talk about.
Bring it on.
It might be working in this case.
Yeah. Anybody in the past, you know, cast Robert Pine and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm leaning towards KITT. As much as I love Superman, he didn't have a lot to do in that episode that stood out.
I mean, he did, you know, tell a kid he was a loser.
that does stand out now that you mention it. Yes, there was the cigarette smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was condescending to Batman.
Well, yeah, that's that's no surprise.
But
that was hardly even acting for Superman.
yeah, other than that, I don't really remember him doing that much.
Yeah. I mean, part of it's the limitations of the show. They didn't let Superman, really go to town like he does in the comics. So
No.
I think the performance of KITT in that episode really stood out to me.
Yeah.
I think that's the winner in my book.
Yeah. Boy, we're right on the same page this year.
We are. There's not as much conflict as in years past. Maybe
No.
it's the fellowship of being at sea that's doing it.
Well, I know, last night when you were holding my hair while I vomited from seasickness.
Well, a certain bond develops at
yeah.
that point.
Okay. So we said KITT, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Well, that leads us into another great category.
Yes, the performance as oneself. Nominees here: Thomas Schneider from The Tomorrow Show, Dorothy Green Pepper, also from The Tomorrow Show, Jed Allen, the host of Celebrity Bowling,
Aha, yes.
and a bit of a wild card here, Ernest Borgnine for being in the audience.
Yes,
of Celebrity
he wasn't even one of the bowlers.
and yet stood out more.
A curious choice by the
Yeah.
committee, but I think I see where they were going with that, actually.
So let me start the timer. This is a tough category.
It really is. Tom Snyder is. We both love Tom Snyder. And
Yeah.
He was at peak Tom Snyder in this episode.
Yes.
We talked about. He was fine as an interviewer. He was charming. He was able to carry on conversations with all kinds of different people, including a nominee for Dope of the Year.
Yeah.
A nominee for Best Song. Nominee for Celebrity Playing Himself
And Youth.
Appearing as himself. Yes, and Youth.
Yeah.
And one of the other nominees, the eccentric Dorothy Green Pepper.
Yeah.
And Tom Snyder handled each segment with aplomb, I would say.
It did, yes.
It's going to be tough to beat him, but...
jocularity.
Yes, jocularity. Now, Dorothy Green Pepper, boy, what a trip she was, huh?
Yeah.
There was something fascinating about her.
Yes.
And conversely, she was able to hold her own with Tom Snyder.
That's true.
There was a lot of give and take in that segment. It was electric.
Hold his what? Hold my... I don't know.
Yes.
She would have made a ribald joke there.
Yes, she would have, indeed.
Yeah. Or he would have, and they would have laughed.
They would have. They would have. Jed Allen, I kind of like him. He sort of has that man of the 70s kind of thing going on, which I enjoy.
Breezy.
He was an amiable enough game show host.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the best at explaining the rules of the game and the concept of the game,
Right.
which one could argue would be a knock against him, considering that's kind of what his job is. But
He was probably a little drunk.
that's quite possible. He might have been having some colortinis himself.
Right. Yeah. And
Ernie Borgnine. Let's talk a little bit about him. I don't know if our listeners remember, but he did make an appearance in that episode.
Yes.
Not as as you say, he was in the audience, watching and enjoying, which I find that amusing in and of itself.
yeah, I do too. And offering bowling advice.
Yes. He was not just sitting there to be polite. He was actually engaged in the bowling match and engaged in the bowling itself and the competition.
Yeah.
It takes real charisma to stand out in that kind of situation.
And I would say a lack of ego.
Yes.
I mean, he's an Oscar winner.
Right.
Granted, a lot of his career also displays a lack of ego based on that. He's an Oscar winner who was on Airwolf.
You know what I'm thinking here? This is tempting, but we shouldn't make decisions based on this. But if Ernest Borgnine were to get a Batty, he would be that much closer to a BGOT, right? A Batty, an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony?
And does he have... We know he has an Oscar.
I think he has an Emmy.
He probably has an Emmy.
I
can't imagine he has a Grammy.
Not even for his Christmas album? No, I don't think he did a Christmas album. Maybe he did a spoken word,
When
though.
he was married to Ethel Merman.
Yeah, yeah, Ethel and Ernie. Holiday classics. Care to simulate what that might sound like?
No.
Yeah, neither do I.
Bickering.
However, Tom Snyder.
Tom.
To me, I like Dorothy Green Pepper. I like Jed Allen, but to me, it's between Ernie Borgnine and Tom Snyder.
Yeah.
And
I like Dorothy Green Pepper a lot, and coming into this, I thought she might run away with it.
really,
But there is the question there that we had about Ricky Schroeder too. Is it a performance?
that is an excellent point. Was
Yeah, I
she
mean-
really herself in that?
Right. Yeah. Was she herself, or was she putting on a show? Or at some point in her life, did she start putting on that show, and then it became herself?
These are deep questions.
Yeah.
Very deep questions.
Tom Snyder probably talked to a philosopher
Yeah.
who maybe could have answered these questions.
Yes. One might say the same of Tom Snyder, though. I mean, he probably at some point became Tom Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a serious newsman to seriously entertaining
Right.
as a talk show host.
Yeah.
Well, I could be persuaded, but I think I'm leaning a certain way here. I'm leaning towards Tom Snyder. Just the fact that we chose it because of Tom Snyder. The whole thing was built around him.
Yeah.
And just how well he was with so many different people. He was just an all-around entertainer in what we watched.
And in terms of, again, this is maybe not a criteria, but like you see him and you'd be like, I would like to have a conversation with him.
I sure would, yeah.
You see Ernie Borgnine as himself, and you don't necessarily think, oh, I want to go watch bowling with him.
Right.
I guess if you're going to go watch bowling, that would be a good person to go with.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on what he's up to. But
You know what? He'd probably buy you nachos or something, though.
he might, yeah.
Nachos and a beer.
Yeah, I could see that. He'd probably like those.
And he'd be eating nachos and a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He probably has some good jokes.
true.
Certainly good stories from his illustrious and not illustrious career.
That is for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be persuaded one way or another. I'm just saying my initial vote is Tom Snyder.
Yeah. No, I think, but yeah. I'm amused by the idea of giving Ernest Borgnine award for sitting in the audience. But
There is that. I mean,
maybe the nomination is enough.
it's something special with his limited screen time that he was able to get it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, would he set a record for fewest screen time to earn a Batty with that performance?
We'd have to get the correct research team.
It would be very hard to top that. I mean, somebody would have had to make a very brief cameo because his screen time in that episode probably, if you're not counting just background shots where he's in there,
Right. Yeah.
true camera time would be minuscule. But it stood out though.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I'm good with Tom.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. Tom Snyder.
All right, fire one up.
Yeah.
Color teeny,
Colors,
silent teeny.
yeah. Whatever teeny you want.
Yep, any kind of teeny.
Yeah.
Tom, you get this Batty teeny. The biggest heel category.
Heel. Yeah. This is a new.
This is a new one? Yeah, okay. Now, just to remind people real quickly, a heel is it's used in everyday walks of life. You know what a heel is. It's a nasty person, a scoundrel usually, but also relevant to our Saturday Night's Main Event episode. The opposite of a baby face, a heel, the bad guy that we root against. Okay, so the nominees are Waldo Linden from our Love Boat episode. The Secret Four, dastardly group of villains from our Super Friends episode. Jesse the Body Ventura, the color commentator of Saturday Night's Main Event. And finally, Harmon, the shady father figure from Medical Center.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are our four. What do you think here?
The timer. I'm going to go ahead and say we should eliminate Harmon. Because, of course, he had a turn at the end.
He did, yes.
He saw the light, so to speak.
Yes, that's well put.
I know there's a heel turn. It's when a babyface turns heel, right?
Right.
Can you have? Do they use
Yes,
that term? Face turn.
Face turn, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very, very common. That's
I don't know if he went full on face, but he did.
maybe more of a tweener. Yes,
Yeah.
but he certainly was not a true heel by the end of that episode.
Yeah.
They baby faced him somewhat too by trying to give
Yeah.
him some rationale for his behavior. So yes, I would eliminate him as well.
I would say Waldo might have the same. I don't know that he himself made a turn, but it seems like the characters. Well, no, he did, because he ended up. Well, he succumbed to blackmail.
He was a bit of a hypocrite.
Bit of a hypocrite, but then his blackmailer went ahead and accepted him.
Yeah. Waldo is more like a stooge in this
Yes.
episode. More of a schlub than a true heel. And in his favor, he did something good because was it not his idea to make Captain Stubing, or it was because of him that Captain Stubing became MC of the talent show,
Right.
which was awesome. So
Yeah, and of
it's
course,
hard for me to.
Coming up soon, you guys are going to get to hear some of his comedy. He's been working on it for years now.
Oh.
He's an unsung hero of comedy.
Yeah,
He's the captain's comedian.
we've been privy to some of the sort of rehearsals, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a treat. I tell you.
He's got 10 minutes on being bald alone.
It's excellent. He may have missed his calling. So yeah, I'd eliminate Waldo too.
Yeah. So that leaves the Secret Four and Jesse Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of an argument against the Secret Four, too.
Oh, let's have it. Go ahead.
Their plan just didn't make a lot of sense.
It
There
really
was
did.
no reason. Maybe this makes them more heelish. There was no reason for them to be heels. They owned the energy companies,
Yes.
and yet were stealing from themselves in order to foist renewable energy
Yeah.
on people.
As dastardly schemes go, that's not exactly the most menacing dastardly scheme either.
No.
It's almost like this is a problem with early Super Friends. They didn't have great heels on their show.
No.
They often had underlying motivations or mitigating circumstances, and I think that's also true of the Secret Four. In addition to, as you correctly point out, their playing being somewhat ridiculous.
Yeah. That brings us to Jesse Ventura. He of course got his comeuppance, as any good heel would. Mm-hmm. But he never changed tact.
No, he didn't apologize.
He didn't apologize.
He didn't get down and say, oh, sorry, Elmer, and let's let bygones be bygones. He didn't do that.
Right. And quite often he doubled down on his rude comments.
He did.
If he thought someone didn't hear them, he made sure to repeat them.
He did that, yes. He was outrageous during the commentary of the matches, but the man got up at another man's wedding.
Yeah.
And, a sacred occasion, a wedding and a reception, it was mocking all of that. That's very heelish.
It's outrageous.
It is. It was uncalled for.
Very much uncalled for.
I think really all the Secret Four had going for them was a cool name.
Yeah.
But Jesse the Body Ventura of this list was really the true heel
Right.
of the whole group, I think.
And they had they were sort of, evil hood costumes.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were good, but Jesse Ventura,
Yeah.
he had some colorful outfits himself.
He did.
Yeah. And he got his face planted in a cake.
Yeah. He did. Yeah, I think you're going with Jesse Ventura.
I'm
I
going
think
with
that's,
Jesse Ventura.
I think that's a pretty easy choice here, actually. I would agree.
Yeah.
Jesse the Body, he may be off the grid, but he's not off the Batty Awards grid.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. Vince McMahon wandered by. No, he didn't. We don't want to get sued by Vince McMahon.
No.
Using his likeness.
We don't. Jesse Ventura, congratulations.
Yeah. This is probably better than being governor.
It probably is.
Yeah.
There's no strings that come with this, and there's no conspiracy here, Jesse. This is not a trick or some kind of plant. This is totally independent, the Batty Awards. We sincerely give you this award for biggest heel.
That's right. We're congratulating you on being mean.
Yes. Yeah. Well done.
Well, we want to skipping ahead to that subgroup.
Yeah, I think that's a good time for it, starting with the... Should we work our way up?
That's a good idea.
Okay.
So, as loyal listeners will know, we have had categories involving hair of some kind, and in the past, and this time we don't just have one; we have four. So we're going to start with a last-minute category, Outstanding Eyebrows.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh. Nominees are Tom Snyder from The Tomorrow Show, Norman Fell from Three's Company, Harmon, again, from Medical Center.
Nice.
We should probably know that actor's name again. And Christopher Lloyd from Taxi as Reverend Jim. We can only use what we have here on the sheet. It's
that's right. I mean, we're just reading the cards.
We're out at sea. There's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's spotty at best.
Right.
We don't want to have any unfortunate controversies by going off, being cowboys, and we're just taking what the blue ribbon panel gave us, and then we can expand on that.
Let's start this.
Okay, so eyebrows. Eyebrows can do many things. It's a powerful tool for any performer.
Right.
And these performers in particular use their eyebrows quite well, I think.
Yeah, and we should say it's not just about the hair part of the eyebrow, but the actual the musculature,
the musculature,
activity,
the dynamic range of the eyebrow. All those things are in play in this.
Yeah. So Norman Fell, for example, if you just looked at a still of him, you might not think, oh, he's got a pair of eyebrows on him. But we all know that that's a big part of his performance as Mr. Roper.
Certainly true. Yeah. And it's often said that eyebrows are the window to someone's soul. And that is probably true of all four of these people.
Yeah.
The Reverend Jim, just half of his facial expressions involve some kind of...
Yeah. He's got wild eyebrows.
Yeah.
In terms of the hair, but yeah, the expressiveness of his face centers on those eyebrows, I think.
Indeed. What can we say about Tom Snyder? The eyebrows are really an essential part of his persona.
They were, I may have said this on the episode, mesmerizing at times.
Yeah, they were.
Especially when he's talking to economists.
Harmon, again, maybe our most surprising two-time nominee that we've had in the history of the Baddies. Yeah. But he left an impression. Now, not necessarily enough of an impression that I would give him the Batty, mind you.
Yeah.
But there's no shame in losing to these other three gentlemen.
No.
Norman Fell, the man, he may have lost to Furley at the beginning of the year, but if it was purely on eyebrows, I believe Roper would have won that. I'm just going to say that. I think that's a true statement. That's just my opinion. Right. We'll never know. We can't go back now in time and do it. But what do you think? It's tough. I've got a couple of... I'm leaning towards someone, but I'll let you talk.
Well, I just realized one knock against Christopher Lloyd is he didn't actually appear in the episode of Taxi we talked about.
Well, that is a slight disadvantage for him.
I know we brought him up, but he wasn't in that. I think he was only a recurring character at that point.
Now, wait a minute. So, under Batty Awards rules, I mean, if somebody gets into through the nomination process, I mean, should we consider that? Or, I guess we can. And also, we're also dealing with the law of the sea here, too, remember?
We might have to get a ruling from Captain Stubing.
Yes. I think that's an excellent point you make there. Well, that kind of works against him.
Yeah. So I think that leaves us with Tom Snyder and Norman Fell.
It does. Now, wait a minute, just to be clarified. Tom Snyder was in the episode of Tomorrow with Tom Snyder that we watched, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good.
He already won an award for that.
Good. Okay, yes.
We don't want to go and
right. Okay.
Re-adjudicate that. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Re-adjudicate.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, I mean, Tom, like former nominee Christopher Lloyd, has sort of both aspects of the thing going on, of the criteria. I mean, he's got bushy eyebrows, but also a lot of muscle activity going on there.
Yeah.
You know, they can display shock.
Yes.
He furrows them a little bit, but in a sensitive way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Puzzlement. And sometimes they're just moving.
Correct. Darting about his face.
Yes. But then Norman Fell, I mean, he says so much with his eyebrow, and the eyes are part of it too, but certainly the lifting of an eyebrows.
Yes.
For a joke. No, we didn't really have a situation where he looked at the camera, as he's famous for, but
true.
You know, I feel like in the infamous building shelves conversation, he was expressing a lot with them.
He was, and you know, one of his patented moves is the lifting of the eyebrows while he's making a certain assumption about Jack.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Roper. I mean, he not necessarily physically gifted with the biggest eyebrows in the world, but his eyebrows have heart. They really say a lot with not that much on the surface. But Norman Fell makes him work. He's the one I'm leaning to, really.
Okay.
It's kind of a philosophical debate, really.
Yes.
I mean, do you go with like the natural eyebrow ability, or do you go with maybe what the eyebrow actually did in the episode? Or do you go with an eyebrow that wasn't even in the episode? Either way, we're going to get heat for this one.
I'm undecided. Like I'm not firmly on the Tom Snyder side, but I think this might be a good time to go to the random number generator.
I'm willing to do that. I think we need to. When you have a tough decision like this, there's only one fair way to do it, even at sea. That's right. Thank you,
Captain Stubing.
Yes,
letting us know.
Well, there you go. If the captain gives us permission.
Yeah. So.
Wait a minute. Now, we're in international waters? Are the numbers the same out here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
We're going to keep so I'm going to choose. I'm putting in the starting number is 1 as a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And maximum number of 2,332.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And, so evens if it's even, Tom Snyder?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Odd, Norman Fell.
Of course, yeah.
And no, not meaning to cast aspersions on him.
No, but that clearly, that's the way to go,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit generate, and I'm actually going to hit it and not look at it and then turn it. So.
Yeah, don't knock over your Colortini. What is the random number?
I'm not sure it worked.
Oh,
let me try a different one. Okay, it was 2,332.
Yes, sometimes on a ship, wacky things happen, folks.
Okay, now
I'm witnessing the process. Okay, we have a number.
Yeah,
the number is 1,350, which means Tom Snyder is the winner.
That's an even number, right?
That's an even number. Yes.
All right.
So Tom Snyder wins the second Batty.
Wow.
Oh, and poor Roper is a 2-time loser.
Oh.
If you count our Roper versus Furley discussion at the beginning of the season.
3 times if you count the end of that episode.
Oh, yes. Oh, Stanley, will you ever win? Okay, Tom, congratulations. Let's focus on Tom Snyder, who, in a thrilling random number generation, he's the winner.
Okay.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved. All right, so next are we going to go to... we're going to go to another one of the categories in a subcategory, correct? And we're looking at...
go up one.
Outstanding facial hair.
I think we're going to save that for last.
Oh, I thought we were going from the bottom to top.
Right. That is the top, right?
Well, wouldn't the other categories be at the top of the person?
Oh.
I'm at the top of the...
I thought you meant the top the list. So we're going from the top, but the eyebrow, well,
I was wondering about that, actually.
Okay.
I thought maybe it was ambiguous. I just went with it.
Okay.
We're at sea. I figured anything goes.
Outstanding facial hair, which is the category we've had before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to make sure that I know all the category nominees in this category.
Okay.
Oh wait, yes.
Oh wait. You
Yes.
know what? Hang on.
You know what? Why don't you
Yeah. Let me just
vamp or
1 second. We need to clear up one of them.
yeah. So just to clarify for people, outstanding facial hair is not an unfamiliar category, but this encompasses not only mustache, beards, goatees, Van Dykes, all kinds of things are eligible for this. Correct?
Yeah.
So
I'll go ahead and read these.
yeah, please do.
Okay. So we have Isaac, played by Ted Lang, or Long apparently, from Love Boat. Hillbilly Jim from Saturday Night's Main Event. Jerome Willis as Matthew Peel on The Sandbaggers. And Santa Claus from The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, and maybe dangerous to vote against one of them.
Yeah, I don't. These are all fine performers with fine facial hair.
Yeah. So I've started the timer now.
Okay. Some interesting choices. This is a real broad category, I think.
Yeah. Isaac,
Got beards against mustaches,
Yeah.
essentially, correct?
yeah. Just going through quickly, like, I feel like Isaac's mustache is iconic. Like, he's one of those people when you see Ted Lang without the mustache, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, and fortunately, he has the mustache on this.
Yeah.
On
Did
the
he
ship
ever
right now.
not have it on Love Boat?
Not on Love Boat, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have Hillbilly Jim. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, country style,
Yeah.
yet well groomed.
But that's not the hillbilly that got married.
No, that was Uncle Elmer.
Right.
Yes, Hillbilly Jim had the more full beard.
Yeah. He would be hip in some quarters now.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Then Peel, Jerome Willis, has a very well manicured mustache.
Indeed, the man spent time working on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And he had proper equipment.
Yes.
Sterling silver toiletry kit, maybe.
Yeah.
And he prided himself on that. And he was probably a little upset by the more liberal hair and facial hair of the 70s.
Yes.
Being an old school kind of guy.
Yeah, his arguably his facial hair was a statement, like a political statement, not just a personal statement.
Yeah. And then Santa Claus. I mean,
Well,
what more can you say?
that's pretty iconic in its own right, isn't it?
That's right.
His beard so snowy white.
Yeah.
Well, I love Santa Claus. I love his beard. Unthinkable, but Santa Claus was essentially kind of a bit player in that Christmas special.
I also think, even though it could get us points off from Santa Claus, I feel like we would also get points off for choosing him when he didn't deserve it.
I think the true meaning of Christmas would be not to just vote for Santa because we want to get presents and we want to stay on the nice list, but to actually go with what's in our hearts and what's right.
Right. And, we have been doing the holiday special. Santa Claus might come up again.
He might.
In a better light.
And really, when you're in a special with a bunch of bears, it's kind of hard for a little bit of facial hair to stand out.
Yeah.
With the characters that are covered with hair.
In a way, the part of his face that's not covered in hair stood out more.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm willing to eliminate him, but I'm going to say for the record that it was your idea to do that. Because I want to stay off the naughty list.
Well, that's a bit naughty of you to do. But
hey, I meant that totally with all sincerity.
Yeah. Past facial hair awards have gone to mustaches.
Yes.
Favored the mustache, for sure.
It's tough to beat a good mustache.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Hillbilly Jim, I don't know if his beard is enough to overcome the power of the mustache this year. I don't think it's the year to break that string.
I feel like maybe he just grows his beard. Like there's no extra attention going on.
Yeah, you could be right on that.
It's like it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a lot of these people in these beard contests and stuff will actually do a lot of work to make a beard like that special.
Well,
Soften
Hillbilly, it just didn't. Yeah, Hillbilly Jim, and plus Hillbilly Jim, you made a point actually by bringing it up. Hillbilly Jim was not the featured beard or facial hair in the episode. He wasn't even the featured hillbilly facial hair in that episode. It was Uncle Elmer.
Was he at least the second banana facial?
Yeah,
beard?
yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Because there was like a third hillbilly.
Yeah, I mean, Hillbilly Jim was the leader of the hillbillies.
Oh, okay.
But in this episode, he kind of took a back seat to Uncle Elmer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Hillbilly Jim, congratulations on the nomination, but not getting a Batty.
Yeah. So I think it's down to the mustaches.
I think it is, too. Isaac's mustache always has a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. Yet, I've got a special affection for sandbaggers and for a good, well-groomed British mustache. I like the international representation in this category.
Yeah.
However, it's tough to beat Isaac.
It is, yeah. I feel like, you know, it's an interesting part of him that he has what might be considered a kind of a droopy mustache or a handlebar mustache, which sometimes can make people look unhappy. And yet he flashes that Isaac grin.
Yeah.
And does the finger guns and, you know.
Yep.
It's all there.
That mustache just lights up the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, sorry, Peel. I know you work on your mustache a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe, you know, some people who work with you might argue that less time on the mustache and tea, a little more time paying attention to what's going on.
Yes.
Understanding the situation from the ground.
That is well said, and there's a rich history and tradition with this category. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a Hall of Fame category here. I'm not sure Peel quite has enough to go into that pantheon of elite mustaches that we've honored.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
The previous
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Who won the first season? I believe that came down to a random number generator.
Yes, the first season. Well, we'll.
It was down to Hector Ramirez and someone. Hector lost.
Hector lost?
I believe he did, yeah.
Who could have beaten Hector Ramirez? Well, whoever it was, he was a legend. He was an elite legend. Unforgettable mustache. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Possibly overshadowed by Tom Selleck.
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of the standard bearer for this category, right. I believe.
Okay. So Isaac, Ted Lang, or
yeah, let's go with. I think Isaac is the deserving one here.
Yeah. Wow. Always a tough category. Well, not always. Tom Selleck obviously walked away with his year.
Yeah.
But, always an exciting category.
That's
yeah,
fair to say.
Okay. So now, I'll let you read.
All right, I'm going to go with the distaff part of this one for a very particular reason, which will become apparent when you read the nominees for the other category.
Okay.
Meaning that mainly because on my list, I don't know if I have access to all of the...
yeah.
So we're going to go with Outstanding Head of Hair Female Division. So we're celebrating the women. Women and men are equally capable of having outstanding head of hairs, and we're going to take a look at the females here. Mm-hmm. The 4 nominees are Priscilla Barnes for her appearance on The Love Boat, Diane Kay for her performance on 8 Is Enough, Wonder Woman for her appearance on Super Friends, and, last but not least, Suzanne Summers as Chrissy Snow on Three's Company. Those are your 4 nominees.
Let's start. 3 blondes and a brunette.
What is Tuesday Night at Charlie Sheen's house?
Hey-oh.
Is Charlie Sheen still relevant? Well, that's the list, yes.
Yeah.
And Diane Kay, I was going to say, is Nancy from 8 Is Enough.
The blonde.
One of the many daughters.
Yes.
One of the 5 daughters.
And so normally I would probably lean to the brunette, but not a big fan of the Super Friends Wonder Woman hair.
Yes, I remember that about you. You were a little unenthusiastic.
It's part of
about
it's her sort of momness, I think.
Yes, the character was voiced that way, was drawn that way,
Yeah.
and acted that way.
Right.
Nothing against moms.
No, nothing against moms.
I have one of them, and moms all over the world are great, but yeah. I interrupted. I'm sorry.
No, that's
It's the passion of the baddies sometimes get to me.
Yeah. Priscilla Barnes certainly had a lot going on with her hair in that Love Boat, and she's I hear one of the first people the Blue Ribbon panel thought of when they came up with this category.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I mean that's a scuttlebutt. We of course don't have access to the panel.
No, we have a strict church and state separation
That's
when
right.
it comes to that. But
Yeah, in fact, they're on a different cruise ship.
oh, is that so?
Yeah, they're sailing parallel to us.
Okay.
They're watching this via simulcast. Of course.
Drinking their simultinis over on that boat.
Yeah, if something comes up, they can get the captain over there to radio us.
Okay,
and,
that's good. That's appropriate.
Say we messed something up. Of course, it's that Chris Lloyd situation.
Yeah.
We'll have to have our go-between talk about that with them later. Anyway, the clock is ticking.
So Priscilla Barnes was one of the first ones they thought of.
She had a lot of hair.
Yeah. She did.
Yeah. Diane Kaye is very attractive. Nice blonde hair. Suzanne Summers, of course, is an iconic actress. And you were talking about, as we were looking over these off air, how did you describe her look on Three's Company?
Her pigtails?
Yeah.
Yes, the iconic pigtails. And that was a big part. I mean, she was a superstar. It's easy to forget that now.
Right.
She became a bit of a caricature of herself with the thigh master and everything, but she was a real superstar the first couple of seasons of Three's Company, partly because of her hair. Oh. I love Wonder Woman, but I think we're also chasing the memories of Linda Carter as usual a little bit, and I would probably eliminate her for this. Priscilla Barnes, who of course was also Terry on Three's Company in the later seasons of that show, and I think I talked about how she was one of my favorite the roommates. Mm-hmm. Now, did her hair do enough in this episode of Love Boat, though? I don't know.
It certainly wasn't the thing that Waldo was paying attention to.
No, I think you're right.
He was aware of it, but he's probably being bald. It's not. That might not be his focal point.
As for Diane Kaye, quick, what did Nancy's hair do in the It Is Enough talent competition or talent performance? Exactly.
I remember her. She did like a. She did like a baton thing or something? What did
You're
she
right.
do?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was the point being her hair didn't make much of an impression in that episode.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's it's part of her appearance.
Yeah. So I would eliminate her, and I hate to say it, but since you're down on it anyway, let's eliminate Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So that leaves us with Suzanne Summers and Priscilla Barnes in a battle of Three's Company of sorts.
I mean,
they're two entirely different blonde hairstyles.
Right. Priscilla Barnes, it was a lot.
It was lustrous as well.
Yes, a pile of lustrous hair.
Yes.
As many, kind of beauty pageant contestants might have.
Yeah.
But again, did the character use? I guess she was using everything, but ultimately she was using her wits and her ability to feign not having wits.
Right.
Apparently.
Well, it was
but like you say about Suzanne Summers' hair being that style being iconic on her.
Well, Chrissy was sort of a quintessential dumb blonde. Priscilla Barnes was sort of subverting the stereotype of the dumb blonde in her episode, for what that's worth.
Yeah. Me
personally, I'm looking at hair here as far as its impact on TV history, which kind of pushes me a little bit towards Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
That's who I'm kind of leaning towards. No disrespect to the Batty Blue Ribbon panel, if they were early, inspired by Priscilla Barnes. But I don't know. I think I might go with Suzanne Summers.
I'll do that. I can go with that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Suzanne Summers
wins her first Batty.
Now, what if we had put the Blue Ribbon panel?
Yeah, we don't have any power to do that.
What if they had
Keep
put
dreaming, pal.
Joyce DeWitt in this category?
Interesting. Well, that would have evened out.
She had an iconic hairstyle.
She did.
Not sure it's one I personally like, but
she had several hairstyles over the years too.
Yeah.
I think the classic one that she had in this episode was, sort of the shorter do.
Right.
And then as the show progressed, she changed to more of a fuller hairstyle.
Okay.
It's a good question, but it's tough to speculate.
Yeah.
It's tough to. It would really be speculation at this point. I think. I don't really want to pit Joyce DeWitt and Suzanne Summers against each other again. That the media did that for years, and
that's not fair.
Yeah. Let's not spoil this goodwill we have at sea with that.
Yeah. Okay. And that brings us to Outstanding Head of Hair Male. The nominees are The Hoff, Knight Rider. Marjo Gortner from Medical Center.
Ooh, good.
Of course, they were co-stars in a bad movie. Isaac again from The Love Boat.
Wow.
And John Eric Hexum from Voyagers. It's a lot of hair.
It's a lot of hair. A lot of man and a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Well, initial thoughts are you have sort of similar hair going at it with the Hoff and John Eric Hexum might normally cancel out some votes in some situations.
And really, Marjo's hair is in the same sort of.
It is.
Kind of curly hair.
I agree, yes. Marjo not necessarily thought of in the same category as David Hasselhoff and John Eric Hexum, but his hair certainly could stack up against either one of those. Isaac, of course, with the kind of fro going on, almost as iconic as the mustache. Really, it goes together. Of course, he's already won a Batty for his facial hair.
Right.
It's kind of a tough category, Mike.
Yeah. In terms of the characters they're playing, Phineas Bogg seems to be able to keep his hair in really good condition no matter the situation. I mean, they're traveling through time. They never seem to stop to whatever, take showers or anything. I'm sure they find time, but, they never know what kind of situation they're going to be in terms of weather, in terms of...
That's a good point.
Just what's going on historically. It could be a totally gross period.
Yeah.
They could go land somewhere where everyone's infested with lice.
That's true, yeah.
And yet his hair is always perfect.
It's hard to find conditioner in ancient Rome.
You'd think that just that flying through the space-time continuum bit would kind of ruffle his hair.
Yeah, that alone would be a disruptor.
And of course his buddy Mino has a nice head of hair too.
Yeah.
So
his hair is almost a mentor, to Mino's hair.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. Whereas Mino's a mentor, his character is a mentor to Phineas.
Right.
But yeah.
The hair is kind of like the opposite.
Yeah.
Relationship.
The Hoff, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, it's almost. His hair holds his own with a talking car, for crying out loud. I mean.
Right. And is very of its time.
That's an excellent point. Yes,
and
I was
yet,
going to just bring that up.
As he's changed over the years and times have changed, his hair has changed, but has always remained, I think, an essential part of his essence.
Indeed. It's tough not to think of classic Hasselhoff as this era Hasselhoff with the big mane.
Right.
And it kind of takes you back to that time, arguably a better time, arguably better hair. Yeah. Bigger's not always better, but in this case, maybe it is. Yeah. And, boy, David Hasselhoff, what a head of hair that man had. And Knight Rider was, I'm not sure if it was greenlit because of his hair, because of the talking car idea, but they were probably neck and neck for influence. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of talking myself into Hasselhoff. Not the first time that's been done, but
we'll just mention, Marjo's hair too.
Yeah, let's not give him
blonde, also very curly. I would say almost like a pompadour. Yeah, that'd be, but like a natural pompadour.
Right.
Something befitting his both his character and what he had done in real life before.
Yeah. And his character on Medical Center was relied on performance, and the hair was part of his performance and persona, definitely.
And you would have, seen that kind of hair maybe on a country singer, or certainly early rock and roll. Of course,
sure,
connection to country, but so it's a good head of hair. No question about that.
Yeah, hey, I mean, just if you get this far in this process, the Batty Awards, you got a great head of hair.
Yeah.
There's no shame in losing.
I feel it, and nothing against Isaac's hair, it's a good look, of course, and it goes with, like you said, the mustache, the award-winning mustache.
I kind of feel we need to detach it from the mustache for the purpose of this category, and it's hard for me to do that.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to do that. Would the hair stand on its own without the mustache? I don't know.
Well, like you mentioned, I haven't seen him bald, so I don't know if that would be weird. But seeing him without the mustache is a little weird.
But seeing him without the afro, not as weird.
Potentially, no.
I agree. That's why I kind of disqualify him, because I think the hair is less important to him.
And I think if he were bald but with that mustache, he would still look pretty darn cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not sure that's entirely relevant to this, but yes, I do. I think you just made a great point.
Yeah.
You expressed kind of what I was getting at, and I think that's why he doesn't necessarily earn the Batty for this category.
Right.
I don't know. I like Marjo. To me, it's between the two pretty boys, and there wasn't anybody prettier than David Hasselhoff back then.
Except for maybe John Eric.
Ugh. Why must you make this so difficult?
Very similar, though, but, brown hair, blue eyes, I think. Hoff had blue eyes, I should know.
You should know. Why?
How did Grant Goodeve not end up in this category? Maybe we should have a category of piercing blue eyes. David Hasselhoff, John Eric Hexum, Grant Goodeve, and DVP.
Well, that can be an unofficial one, I think.
Listeners can vote on that.
Yes. Please do.
Send in. Right.
I'm starting to get a little seasick, I think.
Yeah. I just don't know.
Well,
we're gonna have to go to the thing again.
I guess so. My personal vote would be One Direction, but I think we should go to the random number generator to make sure it's fair.
Okay.
So, should we go as per tradition? I believe David Hasselhoff would be an even number, and John Eric Hexum would be an odd number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've changed the maximum number,
which is
to 3,124.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, that's 3,124,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Okay, so generate.
Okay. There's a lot of digits there. Okay, the number is 2,377,019.
That's an odd?
Yeah, which means it's John Eric Hexum.
Oh.
For Voyagers. Voyagers wins 2 awards.
Hey.
This is the first award for John Eric Hexum.
Yes.
Congratulations. Boy, that's a tough loss for the Hoff, but hey, it's entirely scientific and by the board.
We might get some letters about that.
That might be controversial, but...
Which, might be good, because we could use some letters.
Sure.
Emails.
We could, yeah.
Yeah. What do you say we take a little break before we hit the big categories?
Yeah, I think we could use some rest, some recharge. I'm going to refill my Colortini and Yeah, well, let's do that.
I'm going to start having some coffee so I can remember what we talked about this
Yeah,
season.
I think that's good.
Right. And hopefully, Isaac, when you're mixing that Colortini, don't hold this, remember you won a category. And don't hold the other one against us.
Yes, that's well said. Thank you. Hey everybody, we'd like to talk about a new thing we have planned for the upcoming Season 4 of Battle of the Network shows. We're going to give you a chance to participate in helping us determine what shows we're going to cover. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to have 2 separate polls between 3 similar shows, and we're going to give you the option to choose between them, and whichever show gets the most votes will be the one we talk about in Season 4, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got workplace sitcom. We're going to do a workplace sitcom, and we've got 3 that we'd like you to vote on. Either Barney Miller, Benson, or WKRP in Cincinnati. And from the sci-fi space category, we've got Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, the original of course, and Space 1999. So if you want to participate, the best and quickest way to do it is to go to our website, battleofthenetworkshows.com. We'll have all the polling information there, and we'll also give you information on our social media, on Twitter and Facebook, and let you know how you can participate in voting for what you would like to see most in Season 4.
That's right. Also, in between seasons, we're going to try something new and put up some bonus material. Maybe not every week, but we've got a number of things ready for that. And shorter pieces, some of the games we've done on previous episodes that we're kind of not having time to do anymore. And, things to keep you entertained and thinking about the show. And just keep looking in your feed, your Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or whatever you're using to get your podcasts, and you'll see them there. And Season 4, we're planning on being back by early May at the latest. So look out for that. And now we'll head back to the sea for the rest of the Batty Awards. Welcome back to part 2 of the Batties. So we've got our major categories here, much like the Academy Awards, Oscars, trademark. Saving the best for last.
Yes.
The big ones.
Indeed.
Best toenail polish.
That's always popular.
Yeah. Outstanding grin. Mm-hmm. That might actually be a good category.
Yeah, let's make a note of that. I like that one. I like that even better than the piercing blue eyes. These are actually some of the more conventional categories, I think, fair to say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But no less important.
Right.
So where do we go here? It looks like, I think we've got a few performance categories. And
theme song, and then the...
Yes. So where should we go next? I believe our special award, we save that for last?
Save that for last.
Yes, okay.
So why don't we do the 2 performance ones?
Okay.
And then the theme song as a buffer. And then the 2 other ones.
I'm proud of us for determining this actually on the air instead of during our break.
Right. We had other things to do during our break.
Well, there's a lot going on in the ship here.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to think of us as ambassadors for our show. And, I was mingling and actually talking to a lot of people that are really kind of excited, kind of below deck, and there's some people out starboard. They're watching the show.
Unfortunately, the ship listed at one point, and I fell in the pool.
Yeah, I thought I heard. I did hear. It sounded like a woman screaming. I thought. I didn't know if that was that you or.
No, that was actually Mr. Furley. His toupee fell in the.
I see.
And then a lot of women screamed after that because they thought there was a rat in the pool.
Gotcha.
It was a scene, man.
Well, so he's. I believe he's drying his ascot right now.
Yeah.
Got it hung up on the deck here.
Yeah.
It's good. There's a nice breeze.
Yep.
It's getting a little. It's relaxed. Everybody's relaxing, I think, around the ship. But things are heating up here at the Batties, though, with these major categories we've got.
Yep. And then tomorrow we stop in Acapulco.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
Very much looking forward to that. Okay, so the performance categories.
Yeah. Let's start with outstanding male performance.
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. Do you want to do the honors?
Okay. DVP. Dick Van Patten from 8 is Enough. John Ritter from Three's Company. Roy Marsden from The Sandbaggers. And Danny DeVito from Taxi. Oh, man.
Ugh.
We might need a 10-minute timer.
Oh, Lord.
So I started the timer anyway.
How do we even start to narrow it down here?
I don't know.
These were 4 outstanding performances.
Yeah.
And we praised these very much during the episodes that we talked about them.
Yes.
These are all excellent. Sometimes, as much as I love our Blue Ribbon panel, sometimes I get so frustrated with them. They make our jobs so tough. That's the nature of the game, I guess. Well,
so Roy Marsden, a completely dramatic performance.
Yeah.
DVP, a little of both.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Ritter and DeVito, full-on comedy.
Yeah, Ritter using a lot of the physical comedy that we mentioned.
Yeah. Playing 2 roles, in a way.
Although,
in one episode.
Yes, that's right. It was a rare dual role.
I guess he was always playing 2 roles, so. He was playing real Jack and gay Jack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And DeVito was a physical presence himself. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wasn't doing pratfalls all the time, but he was making gestures. He was very dynamic all the time.
Climbing on things, dancing on things.
Yes, very expressive. It's hard to imagine any of these shows without these men. I mean, there's no real great way to narrow them down. And I like the fact that we're giving the Sandbaggers some recognition.
Yeah.
Because it really was an excellent show and one that I think we hope to shed a little light on. And Roy Marsden was just so excellent in that. Having said that, I don't think I'm going to vote for him for a baddie. Okay. He might be the first one I'd eliminate.
All right.
And I don't really have a great reason for doing so. It just didn't seem like...
Somebody's got to go.
Yeah, that's right.
And, he's got all his backstabbing, double-dealing ways.
Yes, I imagine he'll come out
his character
just fine eventually.
And
we don't have to worry about
Neil Burnside wouldn't. He would care about recognition in terms of promotion, but he wouldn't want it. I don't think awards would mean anything to him.
Yeah, would he even put it on his shelf, where he could see it, or would he just, use it as a paperweight in his office?
If even that,
yeah.
He doesn't seem like a man into decorations.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier to eliminate him.
Yeah. Plus, he's British.
What?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Okay. So, it's just so difficult. I mean, we've certainly been hyping DVP all season.
We have, and deservedly so. DVP, in this episode, it was his Who's On First performance that really stood out.
Yeah.
As far as, the episode, though, I mean, I'm not sure if this episode was the one... Let me put it this way. If we're looking at that in that sense, if we were going to submit an episode for baddie consideration, not based on what we talked about, but if you just pick an episode, it would not be this episode.
No. I don't think so.
Whereas... the other 2 episodes, if we're looking at Ritter and DeVito, they were more like showcases for them, I think.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at it that way, that might be one way we might eliminate Dick Van Patten, as tough as that is to do.
And specifically for Ritter, the Furley episode where...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Right.
I must admit that right off the bat.
Yeah.
And...
boy, if we had a best ensemble category, I think Three's Company would have to run away with it, just based on that episode.
That's might be something to consider for next season, too.
It might be,
Yeah.
Piercing Blue Eyes,
Grin,
and
Ensemble.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, DVP. I'm willing to come down to the 2 comedians.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, Thomas Bradford.
Yeah.
You did yeoman's work.
Right.
And we love the show.
Yeah. And if we had this category, you would probably be MVP. I keep adding categories.
Well, that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Most valuable player versus outstanding performance. They're not necessarily the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
That sounded a lot more profound when I started to say it.
Right.
Hopefully it ended up somewhere, but
yeah.
The listeners can fill in the blanks in that point that I was trying to make.
Right.
Well, Danny DeVito was hilarious in his episode,
and it made me, appreciate or reappreciate his talents.
Yeah.
He's just been famous for so long, and sort of, you just get used to him, and like to actually look at that and see, all the stuff he was doing. It was definitely an impressive.
Yeah, this was like the young, in his prime, Danny DeVito. Really, that was probably peak DeVito was Louis De Palma.
Yeah.
But what a great character!
Yeah,
Acknowledged as one of the best characters of all time in TV history. I believe DeVito won an Emmy, but John Ritter won Emmys too for Jack Tripper. Yeah. You certainly can't imagine Three's Company without Jack Tripper.
No.
Well, you get the Ropers, which didn't last very long. Taxi, despite being an ensemble, is almost unthinkable without Louis.
Yeah.
Even though it has BATTY Award winner Judd Hirsch.
Right. But he's not the center of the show.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's the center of many episodes, but yeah. The show's not built around him for what that's worth. Now,
and that's partly a credit to the character and the performance. On an episode like essentially a lead, and on other episodes he was just sort of a supporting player there to make some wisecracks.
Yeah. Well, in this episode and over the course of the series, he took a kind of an unsympathetic, heelish, if you will, character, and turned him into something that you get instead of what they call go away heat in wrestling. He got the kind you wanted to tune in and watch, and maybe get that comeuppance. That was quite an achievement. Do we want to look at the specific episode? I mean, there was the competition with Alex, whereas, if we're looking at Three's Company, we're looking mainly at the really broad performance of Jack playing Austin, which was essentially putting on a cowboy hat and going, yep. It was good enough to fool Furley, though, which you got to get some points for that, even though
it's not just it's the bouncing back and forth between the two characters.
True.
And all the timing of that,
Yeah.
All of that, I think. Yeah. And also in the Roper episode, lending a sympathetic ear in the shelves conversation.
The infamous building shelves conversation. Yes. Yeah. Three's Company. Say what you will about Three's Company. We said our hour plus worth about it, but it was a big show, and I think John Ritter had more to do. He had the showier performance. I've come to realize where my vote goes, and I have one specific reason for it. But if you don't have a vote, you can try to convince me. Or
I'm leaning Ritter.
Well, here's why I lean Ritter.
Yeah,
and I said this already, but 3 words. I got to be true to myself and give him credit for rare dual role. I think in any kind of situation where there's a competition, the person in a rare dual role has to win it. Okay. It's so rare.
Right.
And it's such an achievement to pull that off that for the purpose of this category, I would vote John Ritter as Jack Tripper.
Yeah. I can't argue with that argument. I thought the 3 words you were going to say were yep. But
well, no, but
and yet again, we're risking the ire of one of the nominees. Not Danny DeVito, but I think Louis De Palma would.
Yeah.
We might want to watch our backs.
Yeah, he'd definitely think we're losers for voting against him. But hey, nothing against him. It was a great performance.
Yeah.
It was a great episode, but
if season 4 doesn't happen, you got a lot of suspects.
Yeah.
I'm saying, if we don't make it back from this voyage.
Yeah, I hope somebody's keeping a...
Of course, this episode might not get posted if we don't make it back from the voyage.
Yeah.
Ooh. We maybe need to put some messages in bottles.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's start doing that. Hopefully somebody makes it back to shore eventually and can tell our story.
Right. And, if that works, I think maybe we should transition from doing a podcast to a newsletter in a bottle.
Yeah. We'll get the word out somehow,
needs
folks.
More bottles floating around the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, so we chose John Ritter.
Yeah, let's go with John Ritter. Congratulations.
Yes.
John Ritter, the late John Ritter.
Moving on to female performance.
Yes, we are. Is it my turn to read?
It is your turn.
Okay. I'm honored to introduce these outstanding female performers. They are Meredith Baxter Burney, Medical Center; Joyce DeWitt, Three's Company; Jane Sheldon, The Sandbaggers; and Leonore Kasdorf for, of course, Knight Rider.
Right.
I'm sure you all remembered Leonore.
start this.
She was, of course,
Yeah,
Jason Bateman's mom.
Yeah, Jason Bateman didn't make it into that youth category.
Well, I can only speculate as to how he didn't, but
yeah, part of that two-hander with KITT.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a puzzling decision now that I think omission. Now that I think about it.
Right.
Well, when we explore some of the
Ricker
snubs,
winning again, against him.
You know, I have a feeling that maybe I'll investigate some of these snubs in future weeks on our website. So
right.
I'll see if I can get to the bottom of that.
Okay.
You raise an interesting point there.
Start the timer.
But now, not that we want to identify Jason Bateman's mom just by Jason Bateman.
No.
Even though we're not calling her by name.
Right.
Mom.
Yeah. This is Jason
was...
Bateman's mom.
Yeah, remember that scene where the Hoff came up to her? Mrs. Jason Bateman's mom, can I borrow your son to go find my car and stuff?
Mrs. Landscaping place?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think it started with a W, the last name. Anyway, honestly, this is a problem we're running into because of this era, but searching for shows too, but there are not as many good roles for women.
True.
Of course, that's, an ongoing issue, but
I
think especially in dramas in
right.
the 70s and 80s, there weren't as many opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, we've had some real standout nominees and some guest stars and a show where it was built around the female star, but we didn't really do that in season 3, so...
Mm-hmm. Honestly, really one name jumps out to me. I like Meredith Baxter, or Meredith Baxter Burney, depending on the time period. The Sandbaggers, that's the woman who played the CIA agent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I should have studied this, and of course, Jason Bateman's mom. But when we were talking about the Three's Company on the episode, we praised Joyce DeWitt a lot for being really a big part of the scene we just were praising John Ritter for.
That's a good point. Yes.
Being a straight man in it, but really helping out.
Yeah, she was part of that. She was sort of manipulating Furley while dancing with him.
Right.
And physically moving him around so that he wouldn't see stuff and kind of helping anchor that. So you're saying that Joyce DeWitt really stands out in this. She's your pick. If I may just say, Sandbaggers, it was nice to see an American CIA agent sort of being a credible physical threat, getting things done on the ship. Meredith Baxter Burney is established Batty favorite.
Yeah,
she was good in this episode. Jason Bateman's mom was a fine presence in her own right and a nice character that I would have liked to have gotten to know a little bit more, despite risking the ire of Doug's mom's boyfriend, possibly. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but just want to give them a little word there. But yeah, Joyce DeWitt is great, and it's good to see her get some recognition. And this really makes this, I see a trend developing here for Three's Company if we give it to Joyce DeWitt. We've got Biggest Dope.
Oh, yeah.
We've got John Ritter.
Susanna Summers.
Norman Fell for Best Eye. Or no, actually, he lost Best Eyebrows to the random number generator.
Yeah.
So Joyce DeWitt gets a baddie in addition to Suzanne Summers getting a baddie.
Yes.
And it's good that both of them get recognized.
Let's say 4 of the 5 iconic characters from that.
Yeah.
Or, well, we didn't have Larry.
No, Larry unfortunately wasn't in there.
But, 4 of the major characters get awards.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and the night is young.
So, yeah.
Well done. But congratulations, Janet Wood, Joyce DeWitt.
Yep.
Outstanding female performance.
Yeah. Thank you for making that process go by in just over 3 minutes.
Yes. So where do we go next?
Theme song.
Theme song. Oh, Lord.
Open category to all shows. There are only 2 with...
without theme songs.
Or 2 with lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Right? Love Boat and Three's Company?
Yes.
Yeah. Because this 8 is Enough is pre...
Yes, unless we want to count the spoken word intro as Super Friends as part of the song.
Oh,
it's sort of part of the package.
Yeah.
But... So arguably, but yeah, so we're just going with one theme song, correct? Mm-hmm. And The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas didn't really have a theme song.
No.
So we can eliminate that.
Yeah. Only 12 more to get.
I would eliminate Tomorrow's Show with Tom Snyder.
That didn't really happen.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, I think in their DVD presentation, I'm not sure if it had the. Well, the Tom Snyder song I remember is the one he had on the Late Late Show.
Okay.
So that crowds out Tomorrow's Show for me. So
Yeah.
I would eliminate that as well.
Right.
Saturday Night's Main Event, I would eliminate that because the original theme song wasn't a theme song for the show.
Right. It was. And certainly other award shows would not include that.
So pretty much everything else is kind of awesome, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Love Boat, everybody knows that.
Okay, Voyagers, though, it's
a good...
It's kind of cool, but
yeah,
I think we can eliminate that.
I think so.
Super Friends, that's pretty cool in its own right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't...
Let's not eliminate it yet.
Yeah, to me, we still have a pretty good group of theme songs. Well, okay, 8 is enough. We've got to consider not... We should point this out. 8 is enough at the time had an instrumental theme song. It was not the Grant Goody song that earlier won an award.
Right.
For that reason, I would eliminate 8 is enough for this season.
Yeah, and I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, okay. Let's eliminate that one.
Okay. And there's Three's Company. I think that should be...
Yeah.
It's in my head right now.
Yeah.
It and Love Boat are fighting each other.
Yeah.
But all of these are memorable. Then what was...
Night Rider.
Night Rider, certainly.
Yeah, Night Rider kind of makes you want to get up and dance.
A different kind of theme song from, I would say, any of these other ones.
Celebrity Bowling
yeah.
is a good theme song.
Yes. Sandbaggers.
Sandbaggers is a great theme song.
Yeah. Just insistent piano.
Yes. Medical Center.
Oh, yeah.
As a pure song, Medical Center is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best part of the whole series.
Yeah.
and Mike.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Taxi.
Oh, yeah.
See? This is...
Boy, we've got orchestral, we've got jazz, we've got...
And you mentioned Love Boat.
Love Boat, I mean, yeah.
I got to throw my hands up.
I haven't even started the timer yet.
I don't know if I can... I'm getting depressed just thinking about having to choose between all these.
Yeah. And we can't, we don't want to run afoul of anyone by playing them.
No.
Just to play them on the radios in our
head. Well, I'll tell you one I would eliminate.
Okay.
Even though I love it.
Yeah.
Knight Rider.
Yeah.
It's not as sophisticated. I mean, it's effective in what it does, but I can't see it beating out any other ones.
No, and I can't. I can think of more the mood of that than the actual music.
Yeah, yeah.
Very of its time, which
the
synthesizer and everything.
Right.
And that has a voiceover on it too that goes with it.
Yeah, and it's good. It's effective, but
yeah. I'm good with that.
Boy, Medical Center was great, but were we really fans of the show? I mean, I kind of feel I'd dock it a little bit for that.
And I almost for being misleading.
Yeah, it's kind of a fraudulent.
Yes, a bait and switch.
yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
It's too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's excellent. I think we should eliminate Medical Center as well.
Okay. If we're just title sequence, if that were a thing, it would be up there. I think hanging in there.
Right. I kind of put Celebrity Bowling and Sandbaggers in the same category.
Yeah.
They're both great songs that instantly evoke the show, but they're sort of on the same, in their own way, they're sort of accomplishing the same thing. Celebrity Bowling has that sort of 70s kitsch aspect to it right from the get-go with that music.
Yeah.
Sandbaggers brings a certain mood with the song. However, I don't know. I'd almost eliminate both of those in one blow here.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
We're getting to the point where it's painful to eliminate any of these.
Especially Sandbaggers keeps...
It sticks with you, doesn't it?
Yeah. The show keeps almost getting there.
Yeah. Now, isn't Sandbaggers, that one comes up at the end too? That music.
Yeah, or the closing credits.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. I mean,
there's
something to be said for striking that mood at the end of a show, as well as at the beginning, or instead of. So
yeah, I think it might be the only music in general. Every now and then there's some what do you call diegetic or non? Like music playing on a stereo. Or something.
But there's not like an active score.
I don't think so.
You know what?
There might be some stings or something.
Yeah,
but not a lot.
There's not like a lot of underscore going on in that rather sparse show. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Well, can we eliminate Celebrity Bowling at least?
I think we can eliminate both of those.
Okay. Okay, so that leaves us with Three's Company, Super Friends, Love Boat, and Taxi. Well, we're down to 4.
Okay.
I loved Super Friends growing up.
Yeah.
Loved it. But does it... I don't know. I don't know if I can vote for it here.
They all evoke their particular show.
They do.
Super Friends is bombastic and heroic, positive sounding. It does need that. I think the voiceover makes it a little more of something than it is. Yeah.
There's so many different versions of Super Friends that they're blending together too. So that's kind of a knock against it. I'm going to tell you what it's down to with me. I've got 2 that I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
And it's not Three's Company. Three's Company to me is it's good in its own way, but it's a little sillier compared to these other ones.
It's not a song I want to hear, even though I'm going to be humming it for the next 3 or 4 days. But like if nothing against Ray Charles.
Mm-hmm. Yes. the best Ray Charles.
The best. Or the guy, right? The guy from Sesame Street.
Joe Raposo.
Yeah, Joe Raposo. It's and it's very of its time too, like almost out of its time, like almost like a laugh-in sort of thing.
Well, look at it this way too. This is what's so cruel about the Baddies is we sort of get in the position of arguing against stuff that we like.
Yeah.
But we heard the alternate version, the original version, without the lyrics.
Yeah.
And it was essentially like the same melody, the same tune, and it sounded totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that says something about the song, its basic qualities. I would eliminate Three's Company.
Yeah.
To me, it's between, and I would eliminate Super Friends as much as I love it. It's between Taxi and Love Boat.
Okay.
2 entirely different songs, but 2 classic themes.
I'm going to agree with you here. One thing I will say about the Three's Company is that when I was waiting for you to arrive or on the ship, and call the buzzer on my room.
Ironically, I had to get a taxi to come here, and it was a little tough sledding out.
But
there,
I thought so where I live, we're not there, of course, but
right.
I have a call box like you see on Seinfeld or whatever, and it calls my cell phone, and I was thinking maybe I should make the come and knock on my door part of my ringtone for that.
Well, you certainly should.
Yeah.
For one thing, independent of what we decide here,
Right.
That's something you should do.
Yeah. It does say something for that, but it's the lyric.
Yes.
More than the song.
Right.
Yeah.
It's maybe more applicable to real life, but we're looking at as a TV theme song is how we're examining it.
And there are lots of other things that are coming to mind now, Mr. Rogers or something. Or, I'm sure there's songs about knocking on doors and ringing doorbells. And
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in.
Sure.
You could do that one too.
Anyway,
depending on what mood you're in.
So we're Love Boat and Taxi.
Okay. Taxi may be arguably the best TV theme song ever, in my opinion. But best. Love Boat is the one that fills me with joy. So when I put a Love Boat episode on, it starts right up with the theme song.
Right.
And I do like everybody does when the Love Boat comes on. I get up and start dancing to it in anticipation of who the guest stars are going to be, of course.
Yeah.
But there's just that build to the song, and it's got the words, and it's almost like Taxi is a better song and a better TV theme song, but there's just something about Love Boat that it's tough for me to vote against it.
They both definitely, as most of these have, they express the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Taxi expresses at least the melancholy underneath of Taxi.
Yeah, and that's been a long time debate. Like, did the Batty Awards celebrate more upbeat material in favor of more challenging, possibly downbeat material? Because we've got a classic confrontation here between Taxi, which has that melancholy air, like a sense of wistfulness to it, whereas Love Boat is inviting, inspiring, and kind of aspirational, and just lifts you up. I mean, is it the safe choice to vote for Love Boat here? I don't know. Love Boat and Taxi. Yeah.
Now, Love Boat, like the music tells you what the show's about, but the words also reinforce it.
They do. They do.
In sometimes very literal ways. But
Yeah. Yes.
I think Taxi that's almost like a timeless piece of music.
Yeah.
We at the Batty Awards are not necessarily here, or Battle of the Network shows are not necessarily about celebrating the timeless.
No, that's fair to say.
We're about
In fact,
celebrating a time.
We often punish the timeless.
Yeah. And the Love Boat is of it in a defining way.
Yeah.
Like if you were just songs that say the Battle of the Network shows era.
Yeah.
If you pick 5 of those, we're not going to pick 5 of those, but if you were, I'm pretty sure Love Boat would be one of them.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think Taxi would be.
No, it would. That's an excellent point. If you asked me to write down like the 10 best TV songs of all time, I think Taxi would be on that list, though. But tonight, with the being out on a boat, maybe it's kind of influencing our thinking too.
Right.
Quite frankly.
Yeah.
But I think where you're going with that, it's a direction I see what you're getting at.
Also, it's interesting that the song, while telling you what the show's about, is kind of lying to you too.
Yes.
By saying it's going to be exciting, and it might be exciting, but really, once you've seen 2 or 3,
yeah, it's more like
the drill,
safe and familiar.
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
Well, plus, I mean, Jack Jones sings it.
Mm-hmm. Paul Williams.
I was just going to say, I think I may have hit an essential point there. Paul Williams was involved in the Love Boat theme song.
And we have yet to get Paul Williams involved in this show.
No.
It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
It's bound to.
Yes.
He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we actually doing this?
Yeah.
Love Boat it is. Let's do it. Let's do it. I thought we might have to go to the number generator, but yeah. Love Boat.
Wow.
Exciting and new and a Batty Award winner.
Yeah. Paul Williams, Jack Jones, and the other guy whose name we mentioned before.
Yes.
On the guy who wrote the Wonder Woman song. And
Fox.
And Happy Days. Yeah.
Charles
Fox. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations all. Wow.
Yeah. We definitely aren't going to play that song though because Paul Williams is the president of ASCAP.
Yes. We
don't want to get in trouble with
Yes,
him.
folks, you know the song. There's no. I don't think there's any restriction against singing it to yourself while you listen to this podcast.
No.
I hope not. Okay.
Yeah.
People won't have to pay a performance fee to the.
No.
Okay. Good.
Maybe if if they happen to be on a stage in front of an audience listening to the podcast and start singing the song.
Right.
I mean, that's probably a bad idea if you're in a play and you're listening to a podcast, or say, doing a concert or something. But
our ship's performers have totally cleared. They're good with any clearances. Correct.
Well, international waters.
Okay. Say no more.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah. Oh, we should say on our Love Boat YouTube playlist, I believe you had a clip of Charo performing the Love Boat theme song.
Yes.
Maybe from her that Stowaway episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check it out, folks. As always, go to our YouTube page, Battle of the Network shows. Look us up, and we've got playlists for every episode that go up the day after our episode drops, and filled with all sorts of tidbits related to what we talk about on the show and the show itself.
And we have at least season 1 right now is up there for your re-listening pleasure.
Yes, actually, you can actually hear Battle of the Network shows on YouTube.
Yeah. So now we're down to show and episode, right?
Oh.
These are
We're going to have some of the same agonizing decisions here.
So let's reiterate the criteria for these. Episode, again, we're not rating our own show. We're not saying the best episode we did.
Because that would be impossible to choose one.
We're saying which episode that we talked about was the most outstanding episode.
Yes.
Whereas show, we're considering the entirety of that show.
Correct. As in, like, what series do we think is the outstanding series that we talked about?
Yes.
Okay, so we've in the course of our last discussion, we mentioned all the things we talked about. On your scorecards, folks, you probably have all of them written down now, so you can play along with us.
Right.
Should we just dive into it?
Yeah.
I think we can eliminate the holiday special. Or we're doing
bear.
best episode first, I think, traditionally, correct? And
Yeah.
then best series?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So I think
best
the
episode.
holiday just
Yeah, we'll just...
is not part of the, really, because it's a special.
Yes. Again, forgive us, Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We mean well.
Right. And teddy bear.
Yeah. I can eliminate several right off the
I
bat.
can like I don't think the Love Boat was necessarily a great Love Boat episode.
No, matter of fact, we sort of mocked that a little bit. Didn't we?
Yeah, right. A Knight Rider, I would feel the same way about.
Correct.
Celebrity Bowling, I think.
Yeah, that wasn't...
I imagine it was representative, but there's not a huge range of difference.
Right. Super Friends, not anything that distinctive about the episode.
Yeah, other than the Bat Belt Mouse compartment.
Yeah. And the fact that we got several other nominations based on it, but let's
Right.
forget that for now.
And,
Try to
well,
make
we
a
got
point.
to say the Dick Door a lot.
Yes. We had a lot of fun with Voyagers, but
We did.
I don't know if I would say it was the best episode.
Yeah, I don't know if I can make that judgment yet. If I ever sit down and watch the rest of those.
Yeah. Now, Saturday night's main event, I think we could probably eliminate that. I
Right.
like that, but again,
Yeah, I like learning about it, but as you said, it's kind of, in a way, not representative of wrestling, whereas it's more representative of where it was going than
yes.
where it was.
I kind of put the Sandbaggers in the same category. Well,
Sandbag,
it's a really cool episode,
yeah,
but it wasn't...
like it's the episode I think we said on the show. If you wanted to watch one episode, I would recommend that.
Because of its...
It's very
kind of
representative, and it's contained enough.
yeah, it's more the self-contained aspect of it.
I think there are probably I would say, not only like 22 episodes or something. I would say it's a top 5. But there are other ones I think of.
Well, it was really good.
Yeah.
I'd probably keep that over, say, the Medical Center episode.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think we could eliminate that.
I'm surprised we didn't.
Now, what about the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder?
It was a lot of fun. Like, I wonder, though, if we had had a chance to see a pre-audience one.
Yes, that's a good point. It wasn't necessarily the best of, not exactly the quintessential
And it might have been,
Tomorrow Show.
we're not sure, but it might have been missing
True.
the Rona Barrett portions,
I think that's a good reason to eliminate that.
even though it probably made it better. But
Yeah. Okay, that leaves us with 3 or 4 left. I mean,
Okay.
if we got Sandbaggers still in there, we've got
Yeah.
Three's Company. 8
which
is enough.
2 episodes
Yeah.
consider there.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Three's Company, Sandbaggers, Taxi, The Great Race, and 8 is enough. Who's on first?
Right.
And the Three's Company were the 2 episodes.
Yeah. So let's see. Sandbaggers we already talked about. 8 is enough. Certainly memorable for introducing the theme song.
Yes.
As we said, not DVP didn't have a ton to do in it.
Yeah, I mean it was the classic cast puts on a show
Yeah.
episode, which is always kind of a little bit out there. They're fun to do, but not necessarily one you would introduce as like an example of the show if you're looking at that as a criteria.
And
A little contrived.
It a little bit made most of the family kind of annoying
Yes.
in their haranguing of David.
Yeah, there were some off kilter moments in that whole thing.
Yeah. But it's definitely fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been watching a lot of A's enough, and I feel like you've seen many episodes that are better.
That's a fair statement. Yes.
Specifically, David Goes on a Bender episode.
Yes. Oh man, that was something. That was something. Yeah, I think there's more memorable. This was a fun episode, but there's more memorable, more standout episodes.
Right.
It's funny that we're kind of using these as criteria when we're the ones that selected the episodes we talked about. We're telling everybody we didn't pick the memorable.
But, sometimes we don't have the time to watch an entire series
Right.
before we pick
Well,
episodes.
sometimes we don't. Yes.
Yeah.
We usually try to.
Right, yeah.
Most everything we tear through the whole show before. But we have different reasons for selecting things, and there might be certain things that are better to talk about than others. But
Right.
okay, I think I could eliminate the 8 is enough episode for that reason. And in Three's Company, the Roper episode was much less memorable than the Furley episode.
Right. I mean, it's memorable for the infamous building show-ups conversation.
Yeah, but the rest of the episode, not so much. And just the fact that Furley won and the strength of that episode, I think would eliminate the Roper episode.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with one episode of Three's Company.
Taxi.
and Taxi, and you have the Sandbaggers.
I'm willing to eliminate Sandbaggers.
Okay. Hey, good job hanging in there. Sandbaggers is an excellent show that we still, of course, recommend.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with, we're down to Three's Company and Taxi.
Yeah, again.
That classic battle. It's like Ali Frazier.
Yeah. At some point, they were probably on the same night, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, I think Taxi's ratings were good because it was following Three's Company.
Right. The Powerhouse ABC, like Tuesday.
Yeah. So, if I was picking like one of my favorite episodes, I've already mentioned that Three's Company was one of my favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Taxi episode we did was really good though.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that was both a great example of the series and just a great series to just sit down and watch.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think Three's Company wins points for giving everybody something to do.
Yeah.
The Taxi it was really just Alex and Louis.
True.
I mean, other people were involved, but, nobody was saying anything that only they could say.
It didn't show off yet.
Latka.
Yeah.
At the end. But
it wasn't like a showcase for the ensemble nature of the show.
Yeah.
It kind of focused on that core conflict. I mean, it did have other characters sort of reacting to that. And, I mean, you got a sense of the characters, but yeah,
But it was really good.
It was really good.
It's
I wouldn't say it was not, like, indicative of the show itself. I think it actually captured a lot of the show itself. And
Yeah.
really got, especially at the heart of those two characters.
And just a good representation of that, well, workplace sitcom, but also that, whatever, high-end sitcom. Your Taxi, Cheers.
Yeah.
MTM.
Good sitcom.
Yeah, a good sitcom.
I believe. That's the word
Quality.
you're looking for. Okay, that's a little bit better. Whereas Three's Company
is, Three's Company is entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's very good at that.
Yeah, it was.
Much like Chips.
Yes.
And like Love Boat, too. It is what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. If we were to take these episodes and show them, like if we were going to go throughout the ship here and show all the passengers.
Right.
And see what they would vote on. Going kind of by what you're saying, probably more of them might pick Three's Company.
They might, yeah.
I think Taxi's not quite. I think Taxi's a show that kind of like you kind of ease into a little bit, and Three's Company is a show that you kind of either love or hate, or
right,
maybe a little both.
Yeah. But he's like, if I were choosing between these two for the next category, I would definitely go Taxi.
Yeah, but as a memorable TV episode,
right? I just think that Three's Company is like a powerhouse of just entertainment and comedy.
That episode has stayed with me all these years. I
Yeah.
can't. It's tough for me to get past that. I'm definitely biased there.
And I feel like it's honoring like comedy history in a way, like like vaudevillian in some way. I'm serious.
I know you are, but I'm laughing because it's just funny to think of like.
I don't know that they were thinking that, but
of like somebody sitting around, like somebody taking that to Fred Silverman and saying, "You're gonna love this episode, boss. It celebrates the rich history of comedy. We got nods to vaudeville." And he's like, "Is Chrissy wearing a tight shirt in this episode?"
She's not in that one. She left the show. Oh yeah.
So
it's got a guy pretending to beat himself up.
No, I didn't mean to laugh at your point, but if you ask many of the people that worked on Three's Company, they might say some of the things that they were paying homage to.
I certainly
classical comedy traditions.
Like,
as far as
John Ritter, was like modeled a lot of his work on like Dick Van Patten, right? Or Dick Van Dyke. I mean,
yes,
should have Dick.
The original.
I want an actor to say I modeled my career on Dick Van Patten.
I'm sure that's what won him the role. That's what they're looking for, like a young Dick Van Patten,
right?
To play a single guy rooming with two single women.
Yeah, he'd seen him in one of his numerous Broadway appearances.
Yeah, who's like an everyman with Midwestern good looks, appealing to women, likable to guys,
right? So anyway, I think in this category, I'm gonna lean Three's Company.
Okay, I can go with that, I think.
Okay.
I think for the purposes of our show, I think that Three's Company is the right choice in this case.
Wow.
The Furley episode.
Man, cleaning up.
Jack's Double Trouble or something, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Or it should have been.
We don't get accused of anything here.
I don't know. What would be...
There were some questions last time.
So improprieties in the process? Well, it's a big night for Three's Company, that's for sure.
Last, search won a lot.
Yeah. Hey,
I didn't come into this thinking Three's Company would win this many.
I didn't either.
There were a couple I figured, but or at least, Joyce DeWitt, for sure. But
well, we're showing our work. I mean, we're talking, we're reasoning it through, we're using sound logic, and
don't you wish the Oscars did this?
yeah, they should have a couple guys sitting there.
3,000 people discussing this.
Yes.
You could really expose all the things people think are going on there, like, too many old people and
that's an excellent idea, really.
Racial bias.
Yeah, you'd find out very quickly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one because it's not going to be much easier.
Yeah. Best show, best series.
Yeah, I think maybe best series would be a
better way of saying it. Yeah.
more clear way of saying it.
Yeah.
So of all the things we covered this year, I think so in the past, I believe Hulk won the first year, was it not?
I think it did. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Squeaker. That might have been a random number.
Yeah, that was a tough decision we had there. Incredible Hulk, and then in season 2, we had another great show won award for outstanding series.
Search, right?
I think it was Search.
Yeah, Search. I think it was. Yeah, we can look that up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll.
Okay, so for this, we're kind of eliminating the holiday episode again. We can probably eliminate some of these other ones quickly. Actually, while you're looking that up, Saturday night's main event we're going to eliminate.
Medical Center
we're going to eliminate. Celebrity Bowling we're going to eliminate.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Show with Tom Snyder we're going to eliminate. Knight Rider we're going to eliminate. Voyagers, I think we can eliminate that.
Yeah.
So from just that bloodbath there we just had, that leaves us with Three's Company, 8 is Enough, Sandbaggers, Taxi, Super Friends, and Love Boat. So we've whittled it down about halfway. Now, I see this as an important award, Mike, because we're thinking about, and this is kind of, I'm looking at our legacy, what we do here on Battle of the Network shows. I don't take this lightly. Whatever series we're saying that series stands the test of time, that it's one we want to watch again, that we want our listeners to watch again. The outstanding show that we looked at, and we got some great ones in here. It's going to be tough to narrow these down.
Not sure we tagged this.
It's going to be very tough to do some other things, too.
Hang on.
Well,
there's a snub article. Season 2 Batty nominees. Maybe we never listed them in it. Ugh.
Does anybody on the other boat know? Does the Blue Ribbon panel remember? Do we even do a season 2?
We did.
Was Christopher Lloyd in season 2?
Magnum PI won the best episode. Or best series. Sorry. Search won best episode. Oh, boy.
How long have we been at sea?
I don't know. What were we talking about before?
We've narrowed down our choice for best series,
hold
of
on.
course.
There's a guy in an orange shirt and a white hat kind of walking across the... We're on an island.
Oh, my gosh.
What is going on?
Have we...
some fat guy just hit him with his hat.
We were so involved in our deliberation over best episode that we
Right.
totally missed what was going on with the ship. But
Yeah.
let's go through it, and
Okay.
we'll worry about getting back to civilization later.
Right. So our best show, and we eliminated a number of episodes or series. Best series.
Yes.
So what are we eliminating? Voyagers, Medical Center.
Yes, Voyagers Medical Center, Saturday night's main event, Celebrity Bowling, Tomorrow's Show with Tom Snyder, and Knight Rider.
Okay.
So that leaves us with Three's Company, 8 is Enough, Sandbaggers, Taxi, Super Friends, and Love Boat.
Okay. This comes down to 2 for me.
Okay.
Sandbaggers and Taxi.
Interesting.
And that's based on quality, and really just based on quality.
Yeah.
In terms of era defining, obviously Sandbaggers is a cult show, and Taxi, while popular, kind of, it was borderline. Had some ratings issues, right? And
yes.
Yeah. So, those are the two for me. We're saying era defining, then Love Boat and Three's Company.
I think I can eliminate Super Friends.
Yeah.
I love the show, but it's so many different incarnations. It's kind of a mess to think about it. If we were just looking at Challenge of the Super Friends, maybe.
Right.
But I can't in good conscience consider like all umpteen seasons of Super Friends as one entity. And even the season we talked about, I would eliminate that. Taxi, Sandbaggers, Three's Company.
Oh, we forgot, and 8 is Enough was there.
Yes, 8 is Enough is in here too. I would eliminate Three's Company.
Yeah.
It's not without its charms.
Right.
But I would not consider it the best series. I'm thinking about, again, one of the methods I use to determine my choice for this is what sticks with me. What do I want to watch after the podcast ends?
Right.
And there's a lot of things go into that too. Availability. I have personal access to some things I don't. Okay, so for me, if we eliminate Three's Company, I got Sandbaggers, Taxi, Love Boat, and 8 is Enough.
Yeah.
You know I love 8 is Enough.
I know you do.
I do. Everybody knows I love 8 is Enough. It's kind of a problem, actually, in some ways. Is it really the best series?
Yeah, I don't know. I did have a recent thought about that kind of show while watching another show. Like a show that's kind of about family. It can be more than one kind of show. Because it's about the whole of someone's life. It can have parts where it's a workplace situation or a school situation or even like a medical situation, a talent show situation.
Yeah.
It can encompass a lot in a way that the say a medical show might only be about the procedural part,
right.
Or a cop show, or might try to balance those things, but you're not going to see everything in that character's life or that group of characters' lives.
Yeah. And especially with an expansive cast like 8 is Enough had, you've got many different characters at different points in their lives pursuing different things, which gives you a lot of options.
Right, and you have the lighter parts, but you also have, the serious part of, lead actress dying and, and having to deal with that and bringing in a new mother or new wife. And all that.
Now the last season of 8 is Enough got pretty lame.
Yeah. Is that the Ralph Macchio?
Yeah, and they kind of started going downhill. Characters got older, and
yeah,
I love 8 is Enough, but I'm not going to vote for it here. And since weren't going to vote for it, I think that makes it easier to eliminate it. That leaves us with, I believe, Sandbaggers, Taxi, and Love Boat. It's kind of amazing that Love Boat is still alive in one sense. Sandbaggers. I love Sandbaggers. I really enjoyed watching those. It was through you that I got hooked on the show. Sandbaggers, to me, I don't have the urge to kind of rewatch it in the way I do other shows. And that's kind of a testament to how intense it was the first time through.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed revisiting it for our podcast, but I would probably eliminate Sandbaggers if I were on the spot here. And I may well be on the spot. Some stuff that's going on behind us in this island. I don't know what's going on. I hope somebody's trying to build a fire or send flares up, but it could be anything going on back there.
I smell banana cream pie.
Okay, well, that's promising. I hope it doesn't degenerate into a Lord of the Flies situation here.
Yeah. No, I don't know. There's some stuff going on with bamboo.
Okay. Seems to be plenty of that around here.
Yeah.
So, if we're talking Sandbaggers, Taxi, Love Boat, I would eliminate Sandbaggers.
Yeah. And they would eliminate you.
Yeah. Maybe we've already been eliminated.
Extreme prejudice.
Yeah, that's for sure. Although, quality speaking, it's tough to argue against Sandbaggers.
Yeah.
Especially when you're including Love Boat in that conversation. I'm going to put my cards on the table.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for me to vote against Love Boat.
Oh, boy. Well,
let me make my case for it.
Okay.
I may have said this earlier. It's the quintessential TV show.
Yeah, you did say
It's
that.
very easy to watch.
Yeah.
Everything about it screams television. Now, is it a good show? That's not for me to decide. even though it kind of is what we're deciding here and on the podcast. I'm just saying it's a show. And it's a TV show. And of all the TV shows we talk about, it's the most TV of all those TV shows. It has guest stars. It has contrived sitcom plots. Anything you could think of that's been done on television, Love Boat did it at some time. And it did it for years and years and years. And like all good TV shows, or many good TV shows, it lasted far longer than it should have. I think that's important.
Did they kill a character?
Well, you may have me there. I don't think so.
It's possible they killed someone.
Yeah, like a passenger.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not like at the end of
it would have been like a Weekend at Bernie's thing.
Gopher got his head chopped off or something.
Right. It would have been like played for comic effect.
Right.
I don't know. Part of me would be ashamed to vote for Love Boat, but part of me couldn't live with myself if I didn't at least make a case for it.
I am willing to concede Sandbaggers.
Okay.
I love it. I think it's high quality TV. I think anyone who's interested in dramatic TV should give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, it lasted not as long as it maybe would have because of mysterious circumstances involving its creator. And it is an outlier being, for our show, being from another country.
True. Despite your slur of British people earlier. Yeah. Taxi was a great show.
Taxi's a great show.
And Taxi holds up, and I believe we remarked about, we're almost kind of, not really surprised, but it was like, that's a really good show, You're just sitting down and like really enjoyed it. Taxi brings quality and entertainment.
And was a springboard for a lot of in front of and behind the camera talent.
True.
To bigger things.
Well, in defense of Love Boat, how could you move on to bigger things when you were on the Love Boat for 9 or 10 years?
Right.
There's really nowhere else to go but down when you're on the Love Boat.
I would think maybe some guest stars agents said there's nowhere else to go but the Love Boat.
Andy Warhol was never on Taxi,
well,
which actually that might be an advantage for Taxi, now that I think about it. Was Jimmy Walker ever on Taxi?
I don't think so.
He was not.
Was Sonny Bono on Taxi more than once?
No, he was not.
Or once at all.
I mean, these are advantages to Love Boat.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Taxi had, a great cast, great scripts. It had humanity. Mm-hmm. It had a great theme song, but then again, so did Love Boat. Okay.
Let me put this question out there.
Okay.
For you to think about. I mean, you've made your choice, I think. But
well, have I?
I don't... In terms of being transported somewhere, like literally transported somewhere, would you, if you were presented with, not a taxi versus a boat, so obviously those are getting you to different places in different ways. You're not going to take a cruise ship to get to DC from anywhere, really. If your crew met you as you were either boarding the transportation or just outside it, which crew is more inviting? The crew of the Love Boat or the motley taxi gang?
That's an easy choice for me.
Yeah.
The crew of the Love Boat.
Right.
I mean, it's your ship's captain.
Yes.
It's your yeoman purser. It's your cruise director.
Yeah. So I think that, comes back to the entertainment versus quality is a dumb word, but,
goodness?
Something, yeah. Like what you're getting out of those shows are different things. I mean, Taxi's entertaining.
Yes.
But there's other elements to it. It has other elements to it. And then Love Boat is I think like Chips, which, it was down to the wire with that one too for best series, I believe.
Was it really?
I think it was Hulk and Chips.
Oh my gosh. You just made me rethink my whole decision here.
Because Chips, we had the same kind of discussion. Like Chips and Love Boat are very similar in that they're very much what they are and embrace what they are.
They do.
and don't apologize for it. They don't apologize. I'm not telling you not to
Yeah,
apologize
right.
for it.
I see an...
Somebody's they're backing up a ship to pick us up off.
Okay, well, so we should kind of hurry this along then, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're going to have a shot to get at this island, or we could be here forever.
Oh, that the fat guy's eating the little guy.
Oh,
That's
man,
not
things are
good.
getting desperate. So you're saying Taxi is your pick?
No. I'm just saying these are the things we have.
Looking back, I think I'm glad that Chips didn't win the season 1 tag. So maybe that might influence my decision here. Okay, you know what?
I think I would lean Taxi. I do think Love Boat is we can't ignore it in terms of what we're trying to do.
You know what? I think it should be Taxi. I mean, I'm in the middle of kind of watching Love Boat. I'm a little, I've got love goggles for the Love Boat right now. Speaking objectively, Taxi is a great show. It's a fine choice. Maybe we should go with Taxi. There's nothing wrong with Taxi. It was consistently good throughout its whole run. There were episodes I liked more than others. There were some things I liked more than others, but Taxi was a great show. The Love Boat.
And I'm using that quality term, but I mean, like we talked about a little bit, some its most memorable moments are hilarity.
Yes.
Like, Jim at the driving test.
Right.
Kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to stop watching Love Boat. And if you're asking me which show I'd rather watch, like right now, which show I may have watched before I caught this ship passage, it was Love Boat. But my Batty choice goes to Taxi. Yes.
Congratulations,
Taxi. You earned it.
James L. Brooks, Ed Weinberger,
Yeah.
all those other people.
Some Charleses in there.
Just Charleses, and of course, Judd Hirsch, Danny DeVito, Mary Lou Henner, Tony Danza.
Yeah, geez, don't all come up and accept the award at
Jeff
once.
Conaway, the late Andy Kaufman.
Do we have to give them each
Christopher
baddies?
Lloyd.
I'm thinking maybe we just give one to pick one and give it someone, because I don't think we can make all those baddies.
Yeah. Again, Christopher Lloyd, we're sorry we had to eliminate you from that.
Yeah, well,
eyebrow category.
He's certainly. I think he can share in this show, even though he wasn't on at the time.
Yeah.
He was part of the show at the time, though. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's Taxi. So I'm a little drained. Maybe I think you might have to lead us into the next category.
Well,
Mike.
here we are. Second ever Robert Pine Genius Award, named after Best Male Performer from Season 1. Robert Pine from the Lowenbrow commercial.
Yes.
Also Chips, but we gave it to him for the Lowenbrow commercial. We'd like to honor, with this award, someone we want more people to know about.
Yes.
Someone who's unique, whose presence automatically makes us more interested in watching what they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Last season it was Leonard Lightfoot from Silver Spoons.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, Mr. Marjo Gortner, who appeared on Medical Center.
Very worthy recipient.
You don't even need to say Gortner, but we do.
Yeah.
Marjo. We talked about him a lot on the Medical Center episode, but to reiterate, in real life he was a child and then adult evangelist who soured on what he was doing and made a documentary that I believe won an Oscar about the behind the scenes and the sort of the con that was going on, at least in his world. And then went on to do some acting and other things in entertainment.
Yes, he's probably the main reason we chose the Medical Center episode that we looked at.
Yeah.
And he's in some other stuff, and like you said, if he's in it, I'm more likely to see it, and that's one of the big driving factors behind the Genius Award, the Robert Pine Genius Award. Tip of the hat to you, Marjo. Yeah. You deserve it.
Congratulations, Marjo. And congratulations to all our winners.
Yeah. What a show it was.
Yeah.
What a voyage it was. A great ceremony. Mike, I think we left it all out there.
I think we
I think my luggage fell overboard, and I don't think I have anything else in my possessions.
Well, good thing we didn't bring much luggage.
No, we packed light.
Yeah. Thank you to the Blue Ribbon panel for nominating everyone, and their ship just saved us from this deserted island.
Yeah, they kept us hopping with some of their choices. They threw us off a little bit here and there, but ultimately they came through and saved our lives. So I guess I'll give them credit for that.
Earned their ribbons.
They did.
Yeah. Should we read through the winners again?
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Maybe you can do the honors for that.
I'm gonna do my best. Okay. Biggest dope was Mr. Furley, Don Knotts on Three's Company. Outstanding facial hair, Isaac from The Love Boat. Biggest exasperation was Judd Hirsch from Taxi. Best song, 8 is Enough from 8 is Enough. Performance by a youth, Mino Palouse from Voyagers.
Yes.
Performance by a non-human, KITT from Knight Rider. A rare dual role, in a way. Performance as oneself, Tom Snyder from The Tomorrow Show. Biggest heel, Jesse Ventura from Saturday Night's Main Event. Best male performance, John Ritter from Three's Company. Female performance, Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company. Outstanding head of hair male, John Eric Hexam. Outstanding head of hair female, Suzanne Summers, Three's Company. Outstanding eyebrows, Tom Snyder again. Double winner. Theme song. You can do the last few.
Theme song was Love Boat, I believe.
Yes.
Outstanding episode was Three's Company for the Furley episode that we covered.
Right.
And best series in an agonizing but well-earned victory, Taxi.
And, of course, Robert Pine Genius Award winner,
Marjo Gordner. Yes.
All right. Season 4 awaits.
Yeah, stay tuned for Season 4. Thanks again to everybody. And, Mike, it's been great. We'll return the tuxes back and look forward to Season 4 and doing it all again.
Yep.
And everybody join us on the website.
And the Lido deck. BattleTheNetworkShows.com. Battle the Network Shows on Instagram. At BatNet Shows on Twitter. Facebook page. Battle the Network Shows. Search us there. Like our page. Find out interesting stuff. Interact. Email us at mailbag@battleofthenetworkshows.com.
Yeah, let us know what you think about these Batty Awards.
Yeah. If there's something you want us to talk about in next season.
Yep.
All right. With that, it's off to Al Capone.
This episode brought to you by the Association Against Scissors and Clippers, keeping men groovy since 1970. This episode also brought to you by Ribbons and Bows, proud supplier of blue ribbons for Blue Ribbon nominating panels. This episode also brought to you by Season 4 of Battle of the Network Shows, coming soon. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows, and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Battle of the Network Shows.